Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the site today as the Crimson Tide puts a 16-game home win streak on the line, welcoming Middle Tennessee State. It's a home opener for Alabama after an impressive win in week number 1. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Heisman winner Andre Ware. Alabama's win against Wisconsin was one of the most impressive wins in week 1 of college football. And they look already like a team with national title hopes. Not a whole lot of teams can say that, especially given the question marks facing the Tide coming in.
Yeah, a lot of questions, a lot of doubts about this football team coming into the season. The offensive line having to replace 3 starters on that side of the ball. Well, now they're an asset to the offensive unit. Could they replace T.J. Yeldon, one of their top rushers from a year ago? In steps Derrick Henry. Amari Cooper, how are they going to replace him? Well, it's been receiver by committee. And, oh, yeah, they got a pretty good defense to go along with it, limiting Wisconsin, one of the nation's best rushing teams last year, to just 40 yards on the ground.
Been a simple blueprint for Nick Saban. Let the defense do the work and the ground game pound it out. But the biggest question around this team continues this day, quarterback. And what's the plan going forward? For more on that, let's go down to the field and say hello to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Tom, Nick Saban tells us that Jake Coker will start this game, but they want to get Cooper Bateman in. And in pregame warm-ups, both quarterbacks took about the same amount of reps. Lane Kiffin saying he'd like to see playtime divided evenly between the two. And Saban said he's seen a change in Coker. He's more confident, more poised. He's got a little pep in his step. And they really are hoping to capitalize on that. Now, Kiffin wants to see if Coker can play fast. But remember, Coker's more of a pro-style quarterback. Bateman, on the other hand, they can run a little spread with him.
All right, Laura, thanks. If they're looking for speed, they only have to look over to the other sideline. Middle Tennessee State last week ran 95 plays. A totally different test from this team than they got last week from Wisconsin.
Yeah, totally different. In the box, smash mouth is what Wisconsin plays. That's what Alabama's best at. But Middle Tennessee State, they're going to open this up. They're going to spread you out, get matchups in the open field. 70 points put up against Jackson State last week. This will be a tough matchup for Alabama defensively against Middle Tennessee's spread offense.
Yeah, it might set the stage for Bama, their opponent next week. Ole Miss. Alabama won the toss. They've elected to receive. Kenyon Drake and Ardarius Stewart back for Bama. Cannon Rooker will get us started. Alabama's won 16 straight at home. Best streak in the nation.
Tom, Middle Tennessee going to face the bulldozer in Derrick Henry right out the gate.
Kenyon Drake back from injury. Finds the sideline, sheds a man, and Drake gives Bama great field position. It was the kicker, Rooker, who shoved him out of bounds, a 40-yard kick return.
A nice job of blocking. We'll see here the starting lineups for Alabama. O.J. Howard going to be featured in this offense most of the day. And I think the nation's best center, well, we're going to talk a lot about this guy as Alabama's running game gets going in Ryan Kelly. He had a heck of a ball game against Wisconsin last week.
Jake Coker leads the Alabama offense onto the field. Senior from Mobile got his first start last week against Wisconsin since the Alabama State playoffs in 2010. Derrick Henry is in the backfield. First play is play action. Looking for the tight end, covered there. Coker trying to redirect traffic, and in trouble, he dumps it off right at the feet of Derrick Henry. Trey Wofford brought pressure.
Yeah, they wanted O.J. Howard right up the middle of the field. And Middle Tennessee did a nice job. Low play action, and they want to release the tight end out and up the middle of the formation. And we just talked about it. Want to feature him throughout this ball game.
So 2nd and 10. Coker lets it go out to Stewart. Can't break through the second man. 4-yard gain as we take a look at the starters on defense for Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah, Chris Hale, the defensive end, 6'4", 266, going to be asked to set the edge and not allow Alabama to get outside today. Nice matchup to watch with him against their tight ends. And in the back end, Kevin Byard.
Incomplete on 3rd and 6.
Byard's kind of that quarterback of the secondary. Good leadership, 5'11", 215 pounds, a fifth-year senior. Gets everybody lined up on the back end, and right out of the gate, Middle Tennessee passes the test on the first possession defensively.
Byard making a school record 39th consecutive start today. J.K. Scott was the best punter in college football last year. A couple of wobblers last week, trying to get off to a good start. Catch taken at the 18. And Ed Batiste takes it out to the 23-yard line. 35-yard punt, 5-yard return. Here are the starters for Middle on offense.
Yeah, Jordan Parker, he gets to start today over Shane Tucker. Big bruising type back. They feel they need some punch back there, going with a little bit bigger back today. And Ed Batiste is an exciting play waiting to happen. Dynamic with the ball in his hands from my area, Houston. Right out Fresno, Texas, Hightower High School. I paid plenty of property tax to that school district.
You're just doing your share. Brent Stockstill, first-year starter. He's a coach's son at quarterback. He's a third-year freshman. They gray-shirted him his first year. He's a lefty, and he gets it out to the flat, complete to Christian Collis. And Collis lost the football. Was he down or not? They say Alabama has recovered.
Well, and that's the matchup they wanted. Receiver against linebacker. And just reaching in there, they've been Geno Smith. Out in the open field, they're out there fighting and scratching, and Smith is the guy that recovers the fumble. I think it's Humphrey, the redshirt freshman, with a heads-up play to rake it out of there.
Marlon Humphrey, second-year freshman from Hoover, has put Alabama in great position here.
His dad was a pretty good football player, wasn't he?
He won bad. Second all-time in rushing in school history. So back to offense for Alabama. Derrick Henry, the featured back. He is a power running back. Instead, they toss it on the sweep to Kenyon Drake. Drake can't find the edge. He stood up there and finally twisted and turned. And he goes down after a gain of 3.
Oh, what a nice block by Derrick Henry. Unselfish player working against Jared Singletary, the corner, who's trying to come up in run support at 5'8", 175, working against 6'3", 245. I mean, that's just outstanding.
Alabama will run some pistol this season. Not here with Coker under center and Henry deep. Here's a handoff to number 2. Hit in the backfield. Nothing doing there. And he's able to pick up 3 on a physical run. Stephen Rhodes, a former Marine, first man to hit him. He's a great story, Rhodes. Rhodes spent 5 years in the active service. He was a sergeant. And the NCAA at the beginning of last season wanted him to sit out another year because he played pickup football overseas. He appealed, so did the school. They got him on the field immediately. This is a kid, when he graduated high school in Antioch, Tennessee, went to work at the Nissan plant. Now he's playing against Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Richard Mullaney with the catch and a dive forward for a first down for the Oregon State transfer, a pickup of 7.
Boy, just been a model of consistency, and he outflanks the defense. Easy throw for Jacob Coker. Watch here, 16 gets outside, and it's just give it to him right now. A little late, actually, with the throw. He actually may have had enough room to turn up and make a challenge towards the end zone if he'd gotten it in his hands a little bit faster.
They're going trips to the top of the formation. Out that way. This is Robert Foster. He's got room. And he wins the foot race for a 19-yard touchdown. And Alabama strikes first.
Boy, a bad angle by Singletary at the top. Watch here, the corner coming in. He goes inside the block. You can't give up outside leverage. It's actually Jeremy Cottrell, number 9 on the outside there. You've got to keep outside leverage. It's actually an easy catch and run for an athlete like Foster when you give up leverage.
4-play, 32-yard scoring drive set up by the strip and recovery, and the extra point is good. Alabama went 3 and out on the first possession. Able to bounce back thanks to the defensive takeaway, working on his short field, and an extra gear for Robert Foster. Bama is in front 7-0. Second-ranked Alabama wasting no time after the fumble recovery, scoring on a short field to go up 7-0.
Yeah, watch the top. Cottrell at the top, the corner, who has outside leverage. He should come up, keep the outside, and force everything back inside where he's got some help. Jacob Coker, he's going to come up. Watch Cottrell take the inside, and you see him right here. He's giving it up, and now it's an easy catch and run down the sideline for Robert Foster. Nobody out there to contain him.
Short kick taken on a hop by Jeremiah Bryson. Bryson gets crunched at the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at the starters for Alabama on the defensive side of the football, dominating once again.
Yeah, Cyrus Jones, arguably their best cover man. They'll be tested today on the outside. Marlon Humphrey, a redshirt freshman that the coaching staff, they're raving about already, Tom. He's made a play in this ball game, forcing a fumble, and that led to an Alabama touchdown.
They open in nickel. We'll see a lot of nickel from Alabama today. Nick Saban estimates they played 70 to 80% nickel last year. This no huddle spread attack for Middle Tennessee, and a handoff on first down to Jordan Parker, and he picks up 4 yards. Another change that Alabama and Kirby Smart have made defensively against no huddle teams, Andre, is really interesting. In the offseason, they visited with Clemson. They've decided no longer will they stick with just one unit on the field and let the offense dictate to them personnel groupings. Nice completion and a fine move by Richie James for a first down.
Yeah, this is also, you know, in that self-scouting that they did this offseason, this is an opportunity to substitute. A first down on the defense's hash mark, closest to your sideline, you can get players on and off the field.
And they certainly have plenty of depth. Here's Parker again. And Parker bear hugged by A'Shawn Robinson and company. Reuben Foster in on the tackle for Alabama. The depth for Alabama defensively really relies in that front 3 or 4, depending on what front they show.
Yeah, it really is. Really strength on strength. The front 7 for Alabama, and then Middle Tennessee returned 4 offensive line starters. Should be able to protect Brent Stockstill most of this football game.
2nd and 9 for the Blue Raiders. Stockstill over the middle, complete. There's a first down to Richie James, and that's an area of concern for Alabama, the crossing routes in their man coverage.
They will live with that all day long. Middle Tennessee with Richie James matched against Reggie Ragland. Coach, my offensive coordinator at Houston, when you spread them out and they try to leave linebackers in the game, they said it was like cows on ice. You know, big guys trying to match up against smaller slot receivers.
So Middle Tennessee driving here, back to the ground, and Parker. And a pickup of 3 on first down. Alabama faced a run-heavy Wisconsin team last week. They did a fantastic job over the last 2 seasons. It's more of the same against the rush, but susceptible against the pass.
Yeah, this is a defense that gives Kirby Smart, an offense that gives him some headaches.
On 2nd and 7, they're running it again, and they've got a first down for Parker, the senior from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Cyrus Jones with the stop after a gain of 9.
And I thought it was interesting when we talked to Alabama's coaches yesterday, they were afraid of just this. Middle Tennessee's skill position players better than Wisconsin's.
To throw again, trying to get it outside, incomplete, aiming for Ed Batiste. And we saw moments ago Alabama already able to get DJ Petway in the game, defensive sub against a no huddle with Middle Tennessee on the line. And now after the incompletion, they have more time.
That name sounds familiar. Brent Stockstill. It is the coach's son. Redshirt freshman, won the job about 10 days before the season started.
Completion to Richie James. We've seen him all over the field already.
You can tell they've spent a lot of time in the car talking football, you know, at the house talking football. He knows this offense very well, and you see how he's executing here early.
Low snap. He scoops it up and has to scramble. Stockstill fires on the run. Incomplete. Coverage downfield from Eddie Jackson. Ed Batiste, the intended receiver for Middle Tennessee.
And he's going to kick himself because he had Jordan Parker. Watch the running back, number 6, out here. Watch him as the quarterback starts to go right there. He's wide open. It's an easier throw inside, a closer throw that would have gotten him the first down.
So Middle Tennessee will attempt to kick from Cody Clark, a 46-yard attempt on the second possession of the game. Snap and hold were good. The kick's loose in air, and it's going to fall short and wide.
That's right about the range. When we talked to Coach Stockstill that he trusted Cody Clark. He said 47 yards and in. That's should have had enough distance.
Alabama will be back on offense when we return, tied up 7-zip.
SEC Network Football is brought to you by Delta Faucet. See what Delta can do.
Home opener at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and Alabama leads Middle Tennessee 7-0. Third possession for the Tide upcoming. Jake Coker, the Florida State transfer, the senior quarterback.
Well, this is when they'd like to run that flat flag drag combination.
Swing it to the outside. This is Stewart. And he gets dragged down from behind after gain of 8. Laura?
Well, Tom, Kenyon Drake, of course, coming back from injury for Alabama, and Saban felt like he was putting a little bit too much pressure on himself last week. Felt like every time he got the ball in his hands, he was trying to run for a touchdown. So he took about 2 or 3 plays, put him on film, sat down with Kenyon, and told him, hey, let the game come to you. Don't force anything. It's something that Kenyon is trying to work on this week. He feels better about it, feels a lot more comfortable. And guys, Saban telling us he really likes to be a visual teacher, especially with kids these days.
Laura, thank you. And he reinforced it. He knew Kenyon Drake was healthy in the spring, though he was still in a no-contact jersey. How did he know? Saban had the same exact injury in 1972 when he was playing for Don James at Kent State with guys like Jack Lambert and Gary Pinkel. Broke his ankle against Northern Illinois. Returned for the Tangerine Bowl. Coker looking downfield. Checks to his tight end. This is O.J. Howard. And he's going to be something special.
Boy, a nice job of working against zone coverage, finding a nice soft spot against Middle Tennessee's. More of like a Jimmy Graham, Tony Gonzalez type, big tight end. You see him right there, the right part of your screen. It's a nice job of showing the numbers to the quarterback.
Play action, Coker fires it to his tight end again. Off of his hands with coverage all over him. It was Quay Watt who had the coverage, and T.T. Barber had a hit on Coker.
T.T. Barber, he's the team's defensive leader. Hard-hitting, playmaking linebacker who a good pass rush specialist. When they decide to bring him as well off the edge, he can get to the quarterback. Had a sack in last week's game against Jackson State.
Coker lets it go to the outside. Complete. Calvin Ridley.
Excellent job of open field tackling by Cottrell. Made a mistake in Bama's second possession that cost him a touchdown, giving up outside leverage. But there, you're out there all alone and just hanging on against the receiver. Till help arrives.
Alabama 1 of 2 on third down thus far tonight, 5th in the country last season. 3rd and 4, Kenyon Drake in the backfield. Coker with the check. Here's Drake. And he gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Well, it looked as though Middle Tennessee was in the huddle and knew the play. Watch everybody shift to this side where Kenyon Drake's going. They give T.T. Barber, he's the guy that gives the call. They shift, and it allows him to make the play from the outside. Nice job of defensive recognition by Middle Tennessee here.
They keep the offense on the field. Alabama to go for it. Looking at a 4th and 5. Coker facing a blitz. Pulls it back, lets it go, and finds the bench. Middle Tennessee State forces a turnover on downs. It was the former Marine, Stephen Rhodes, who brought the pressure.
Nice job. I tell you, it's like they've been in the huddle of Alabama getting the play call and then knowing what to do. Excellent pressure by Rhodes from the outside.
And that pressure forces Alabama to turn it over on downs. Middle Tennessee State back on offense when we return.
Orinoco in studio with your SEC Right Now, brought to you by State Farm. What a first quarter for Ole Miss's Chad Kelly. This is his second touchdown pass to Quincy Adeboyejo. First quarter, he threw for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns, also ran for 1. He's led 9 drives this season. They've scored, led 12 drives, guys. They've scored 9 touchdowns on him.
He has been spectacular. Thanks, Dari. The first couple of weeks of the season under center for Hugh Freeze.
Who feels better about their program today right now, Ole Miss or Auburn?
I think Ole Miss definitely. You know, having to replace a quarterback and then Auburn just hanging on in overtime against Jacksonville State. I think there's some concerns down at Auburn right now.
Defense couldn't stop the Gamecocks. Shane Tucker in at running back for Middle Tennessee State. His first tote, and he tries to go over the right side, picks up 2.5.
Certainly does it a little bit differently. Shane Tucker, kind of that all-around back that can do everything. Run the football. He's a good pass protector. Excellent receiver out of the backfield. And I mentioned Jordan Parker, who actually started the game. A bigger back, more downhill type runner. Got a nice combination and mix with the two of them.
And they split Tucker out wide. This is 5 wide, empty backfield, no huddle for Middle Tennessee. Another bobbled snap. Stockstill able to regather. Who's open? Anybody? Nobody. Incomplete. Batiste got his hands on it, but was out of bounds.
A couple of bad snaps from Josh Chester, the center. Watch right in the middle. He had to feel one the previous possession as well and do a nice job of escaping to his left. Here he gets pressure because of the snap, disrupts the entire timing of the play. Chester's going to have to tighten that baby up a little bit.
Fourth-year junior from Warner Robins, Georgia. Brent Stockstill, redshirt freshman from Murfreesboro, looking to throw to the outside and complete.
What nice throw and catch.
Christian Collis with the hands. Marlon Humphrey on the coverage, gain of 8.
And I don't think Humphrey could have been in any better coverage. I mean, he is tight to the receiver here. I mean, just right there. What a throw by the redshirt freshman Brent Stockstill to move the chains from Middle Tennessee.
Now they're mixing it up a little bit. Shane Tucker next to his quarterback Stockstill. On a little counter, he's got it over the right side. He's got room, and he bounced off a couple of tied defenders to pick up the first down and fight for more. He took Marlon Humphrey with him for the final 5 yards of a 13-yard gain.
Kind of felt like Alabama stole some of the momentum from Middle Tennessee after the fumble and the recovery. Went down and put a touchdown in the end zone. And then here, a stop from the defense of Middle Tennessee. And now the offense on the move. We're getting a little mojo back on offense here.
We had a
formation. 5 players in the backfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Mark Curls, our white hat this afternoon.
That might send that mojo spiraling in the other direction. Get a run like that in an effort. Look at the lineup here, and it's the tackle that's off the ball that gets popped for. Going to be a little bit closer to the ball in the line of scrimmage. And really, no reason for it. It's a running play. So he's trying to make it, I guess, look like pass where you get the run past the defensive end of that side up the field.
Middle is without starting guard Darius Johnson, who had been at tackle last year. Remember, a left-handed quarterback. The real value lies at right tackle. Design quarterback run, Stockstill with the fake, and he's able to scramble for 4. One thing that Kirby Smart pointed out, he's a left-handed quarterback, but where most offenses go 70 to 80% right-handed or the favored hand of their quarterback, Middle Tennessee doesn't favor his left hand, which is a little bit different.
Yeah, and you watch Alabama offensively, they run those bunch packages. A lot of it's going to Jacob Coker's right because he's a right-handed passer. He's more comfortable going that way, and it's just the opposite for Brent Stockstill.
This is Tucker. He's got room and takes a lick as he takes it to the 40. Reggie Ragland, the senior, who returned for his senior year, in on the tackle. gain of 8.
So spread out. This Middle Tennessee offensive line did a nice job.
And now they're going with some tempo on 3rd down. Did they get it? Tucker with the carry. Ragland, the first man there. Needed 3. Probably got 2.
I think it's just about half yard short. And this is no decision. No decision here for Rick Stockstill. He's got to go for it.
And they're going to get the snap off early. Tucker's got it. And he may have snuck through.
It's right just past the 36, which should give them enough for the first down. Yeah, definitely a first down here. Bama trying to commit more defenders inside the box there. Knew the run was coming with Tucker, and he had a nice push up front. Jalen Hunter, the left guard, Josh Chester, the center, able to move Bama off the ball to convert the first down.
Corey McCarron, AJ's little brother, now on the field for Middle Tennessee State. The Bama transfer at 1 fullback, and he's able to create a little bit of a seam that time for Shane Tucker. Pickup of 4. One thing Nick Saban pointed out to us yesterday, these Conference USA teams, speaking generally, have great skill position players. Their weakness is typically depth. The lack of depth doesn't show up in week 2. That shows up midway through the season.
Yeah, and he was very complimentary in Middle Tennessee State, as we mentioned earlier. Their skill players, he felt like, were better than Wisconsin's. And then you throw in 4 offensive line starters returning, a lot of experience.
Here's Tucker again, and he gets waylaid for no gain.
It felt like as well, Tom, that later in the game, the depth of Alabama being able to substitute, maybe not by per play as they're doing right here, actually substituting players in as Middle Tennessee substitutes, but later in a game, being able to keep fresh players on the field will certainly help them out.
Some question marks for Alabama, making sure they have the right personnel on the field.
Uncovered there for a long time.
Stock still looking that way on the slant. It's complete. First down for Middle Tennessee, Ed Batiste.
Boy, a lot of room, late to get over there is Geno Smith. And you love a safety working against Batiste. In the open field, watch the slant route, going to come right into your screen. And a nice job setting him outside, coming underneath. The timing of the throw, perfect.
11th play of the drive for Middle Tennessee State. Swinging it out to Richie James. Cuts back in when it takes 4 men to bring him down.
Well, this play goes because of Lucas Hamilton, number 88, threw a nice block for Richie James to free him up and let him work in some space. And nice rhythm right now by Middle Tennessee State.
Hand off to Bryson, cuts back, gets spun around and dropped. Jaron Reed was the man who nearly took Bryson's head off. No gain.
Yeah, and he's the specialist. When they get down inside the red zone, they go away from Parker and Tucker. They go to Bryson, solid inside runner, and they'll use him in short yardage and goal line situations. 5'8", just 192 pounds, but boy, he runs tough.
3rd and 1.
Like there's someone missing, waiting on a receiver to come in.
They got to use a timeout.
Well, 12 seconds. They still had plenty of time, but I absolutely agree with you. It's too critical of a situation to rush the play, take the timeout, and then get things settled down, get the right play called in.
Alabama with a touchdown lead here in the first quarter in Tuscaloosa. We got a good one tonight on the SEC ESPN Network as conference play gets underway. Kentucky faces off against South Carolina. Live from Columbia at 7:30, exclusively on the SEC ESPN Network and streaming live at home or on the go on Watch ESPN. Kentucky scored 21 in the 4th quarter last year. To beat South Carolina at Commonwealth Stadium, it'll be a different story on the road.
Brent and Jesse with that call tonight. Should be a good one, though.
13th play of the drive. It's 3rd and 1.
Yeah, everybody spread out, 5 in the box here. They look to run the football.
Tucker takes the snap. Design misdirection, lost the football. Alabama's got it for the 2nd time.
Never liked when teams get cute down on this end of the field, and you know how important momentum is on the road. 2 turnovers. They go away from Stockstill, who handles the ball on an every down basis. gets cute with Tucker, and it cost him a turnover.
And they've already had 2 bad snaps today.
Yep. You see here, moving out of the way, they're going to get cute, snap it directly. He acts as though he doesn't know what's going on, trying to fool the defense, but he forgets to secure the snap. And actually, credit Josh Chester, put it right in his breadbasket with a snap. No reason for missing that one.
Jarran Reed had the recovery, and now we've got a flag before Alabama gets the playoff.
Going to be a false start. They were coming with a corner
False
blitz.
start, number 13, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Correction, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, Jared Singletary was coming off the corner, working right here. You see him coming off the corner right there. Just a flinch by Adarius Stewart. Officials, that one's hard to miss.
One of the questions that Lane Kiffin has about Jake Coker, he talked to us about yesterday, is when we go fast, how will he play? And this is an Alabama offense that does want to go fast. Coker hands to Henry. Henry gets backed up. Tremendous play up front by Chris Hale, fighting through his block. It's a loss of 4.
Excellent job by Hale. They said he's going to have to fight the outside, keep outside leverage. Not only does he do it and turn Henry back inside, but he's part of the reason that Henry goes down. Just legs, there's enough of him to trip him up. Henry stumbles and then goes down, and Middle Tennessee could play downhill defensively now with 2nd and long.
Alabama has 2 rush yards today. Coker flushed. Gets tripped up just past the 10 as he rushes for 5.
Oh, nice job by Jacob Coker. Dominic Jackson, the right tackle, gets beaten, and Coker, athletic quarterback. I think you kind of underrate him in terms of his mobility and his athletic ability. You see him here, that's enough. You don't have to run 4-4 to play that position, just enough to get away from would-be tacklers. And nice job there giving himself a little room to breathe.
That Coker scramble is the longest run of the first quarter for Alabama. Looking deep. Flag on the play, incomplete, just a hair behind his intended receiver, Stewart.
Maybe a hold here, but there was a collision on a blitzing linebacker.
Number 74 offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
A blitzing linebacker, and Derrick Henry picked him
number
up.
76 offense.
And I heard the stalemate way up here in the press box.
Derrick Henry told us yesterday, when it comes to pass pro, I'm going to hurt you.
There he is right there. Watch it. They're right there. I mean, that is picking up. And that's a pretty good football player. Trey Walford just got stoned by Derrick Henry. Amazing.
2nd 3 and out for Alabama. Bryson back to return this punt from J.K. Scott, who stands in his end zone. High but short. And it's taken on the logo by Bryson. 1:14 to go in the first quarter. Alabama has the game's only touchdown so far today. Solid game last week for Alabama. Different story here at home today.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee, a miscue here. Bad snap. A fumble that led to a touchdown early. Bad snap again on the ground. Stockstill gets crushed out, and then here, an opportunity to put points on the board. They get cute with a direct snap to Shane Tucker. He puts it on the board, but the defense bails out Middle Tennessee once again.
1 touchdown off with those 2 turnovers for Alabama. They scored on the first one.
Right there in the slot. Uncovered, and you got a linebacker out there on it. That's where I'm looking if I'm Brent Stockstill right now.
Stockstill fakes, takes off straight up the gut, and he scrambles for a gain of 9.
And it's just as good because you freeze Reggie Ragland, who's got inside position at linebacker on any running play. He takes one false step outside, and that loosens things up. for Brent Stockstill in the quarterback run. But once again, late getting out on the slot at the top.
Out to Richie James, got a key block there, dances for the first down, and forced out of bounds by the freshman Marlon Humphrey, a gain of 4.
Nice job there, Richie James. Converting there, moving the chains. They've moved the ball against Alabama's defense, and they've played pretty good defense of their own. They have to take care of the football. It's turnovers that have been the difference.
And they've missed a field goal. Here's Jordan Parker to the outside. Geno Matias-Smith, the senior from Atlanta, with the stop, but pickup of 5.
Well, you turn the film on, and you just see a bunch of guys that can make plays offensively for Middle Tennessee. Parker being one of them, Matisse being the other, Richie James. They spread the love around.
Stockstill hands it off to Parker. Maybe a yard. Dalvin Thompson with the stop.
He's going to
very interesting first quarter. Middle Tennessee with a pair of turnovers and a missed field goal. Alabama back at home. Their win streak on the line. And the Tide trying to prove they belong among the nation's elite. Only have a touchdown lead. Slow start in this one. Number 2 Alabama with a touchdown lead against Middle Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee has nearly doubled up Alabama in terms of total yards here through 1 quarter of play, but 2 turnovers and a missed field goal the difference.
They just about doubled them up in plays run as well, which is why Alabama unable to have the offensive output they had a week ago. 27 plays to just 17, and only 11 have been run by Alabama since the touchdown drive, which took just 4 plays.
Stockstill to throw on 3rd and 5. Over the middle, complete, and a first down for Terry Pettis, a former wide receiver, now a tight end. Caught it behind the sticks, ended up with an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, and he's their receiving tight end, a 2-year starter. You'll see him here, patient on the rub. They cross in the middle, they allow for the rub. That got him open, and Stockstill working the pocket. There's a nice completion over the middle to pick up the first down.
Totally different than what Alabama saw last week against Wisconsin. Here's Shane Tucker. He gets slammed to the ground for a loss of a yard.
There's that man, A'Shawn Robinson. So much production in 2013 when he had 5.5 sacks. Had one last year. 49 tackles though, coming off the edge of playing defensive end.
Preseason first team All-SEC. Extra defensive back on for Alabama. They'll be there 90% of the time today. Down the sideline. Too much. Cyrus Jones with the coverage on Batiste.
Yeah, you get one-on-one coverage at the top. Got to take a shot. Just to wake Cyrus Jones up, keep him involved in the game. Nice defensive play on the back end by number 5. Second team All-SEC last year. Cyrus feeling it a little bit.
Nelson, receiver, number 84, downfield was covered up. The penalties declined. It's 3rd down.
Doesn't cost him a ton, but another formation penalty on Middle Tennessee State.
It's basically just the incomplete pass. You take the result of the play. And it's Pettis who had the big catch on the crossing route, which you mentioned earlier. Lane Kiffin, or excuse me, Kirby Smart talked about. This is what Middle Tennessee loves to do, cross in the middle of the field, and they find ways to get receivers open.
Especially since Alabama's a man-to-man defensive team.
Uncovered slot again.
4-man rush over the middle. Caught! Down to the 1-yard line. Richie James in Middle Tennessee State knocking on the door.
Yeah, and Richie James uncovered in the slot. Comes wide open in the weakness of the defense. They go cover 2 zone and try to run a defender underneath. James made a heck of a catch in the middle.
Tucker in the backfield after that gain of 21. Tucker bowled over behind the line of scrimmage. He goes backwards. Denzel Duvall, the first man there.
Yeah, watch here for the same type of play action, whether it's an option to give it to Parker underneath, or excuse me, Tucker underneath, or boot Stockstill out with an option to pass out to the right side. Actually change personnel so they may go away from it, but that option was certainly there for Middle Tennessee State, and they love to do it.
10th play of the drive, 2nd and goal. Stockstill rolls left, stops, and backing up, throws it incomplete.
Boy, great play by Geno Smith.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. Number 1 was in the area. 3rd down.
And 24 working on the outside, did not leave his pass responsibilities to bite on the play fake by Stockstill.
Third and goal, 11th play of the drive. Looking at Tucker. Now back to the right side and batted incomplete. It was Reuben Foster in the coverage for Alabama.
Yeah, on the road here, you got to take the points. Can't come away empty-handed and let Alabama steal all the momentum. But just watch the wheel route. This is another element of what they like to do in the passing game. They'll try to wheel the back up the sideline, and it gets covered up.
So a 20-yard attempt by Cody Clark. Last year's numbers for Clark, and he punches this one through. He had 10 extra points against Jackson State last week. That one basically an extra point. Middle Tennessee is on the board. We got a game in Tuscaloosa.
Takes the handoff. He's got the first down, breaks free at the 30, 10, 5, Henry, touchdown Alabama. A 37-yard run for Henry on a 4th down and 1. Counter play to Henry running left at the 50, breaks a tackle, off to the races, they're not going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown Alabama. Henry running left, cuts back right across the goal line, touchdown Alabama, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the night.
Last week, Derrick Henry was a truck rushing through feathers. So far tonight, they haven't been able to get the running game going through their first 4 possessions. He only has 3 carries for 3 yards.
Felt as a player that it was easier to run the football against 3-4 defenses. That's what he faced last week. Middle Tennessee poses a different problem with a 4-3 front.
A couple of yards deep into the end zone. And out past the 20. The 24 is Kenyon Drake.
Bama's drives, 3 plays. He had to punt it away. He had the turnover, so the momentum off that turnover led to a 4-play touchdown pass to Foster. With 7 plays, had to give it away on downs, and then a punt, 3 plays, 3 and out, their last possession. So struggling a little bit to get things going offensively.
Derrick Henry over his last 3 games is averaging 8 yards a carry and a total of 6 touchdowns.
And they want to go fast, but in order to go fast, you have to have success and not go 3 and out.
Play action to Henry. Coker looking. Complete. There's the tight end, O.J. Howard, and he's free. Inside the 30.
Nice job of waiting out O.J. Howard. Watch him cross. From right here, now he's going to work himself into this area. Watch right here. It vacates with a safety fired. Turn in the run with the receiver deep. It gives Howard a nice area in which to work.
Still not going to Henry. Trying to go deep here. Overthrown and incomplete.
Talk about getting away with it.
Cottrell was closer on that one than the receiver Stewart.
It's like Coker was throwing to Cottrell. He throws it inside. That's the mistake. If he's high and trying to work out inside and out, you throw it Right here, he gives the move inside. Now just sit him down with the football. You can tell by a receiver's body language if he's trying to get by the defender or if he's allowing the defender to stay on top. There, Stewart was allowing Cottrell to stay on top.
Now 2nd and 10. Late adjustment from Lane Kiffin. Here's Henry in a big hole. First down for Alabama. Pickup of 12. Longest run of the day for the Tide.
Sometimes you just have to force the issue. Keep going to it. And he's big enough where you keep knocking on the door a few times. Eventually, it's going to kick in. And Derrick Henry right there. Nice job of cutting back to the outside to pick up some additional yards.
That was the 20th play of the day for the Alabama offense. Only the 4th carry for Henry. He last week carried the ball 13 times.
The down indicator is broken. Will be replaced.
They can't get the down indicator off of 2.
Well, you got a guy running all the way around. He just ought to take the short route and go right across.
That's right. We're all waiting on him,
yeah.
right? Just cut across.
Yeah. We're waiting on you. Just stay on that side. There you go. He's all set, back in place. Let's play some football. It seems as though they've got to find a rhythm, and maybe the pass to O.J. Howard is going to jumpstart this Alabama offense. A nice catch, a nice run with Henry mixing the pass with a run.
Out of the pistol now for the 2nd time today. Henry breaks through a shoestring tackle and picks up 6. One of the reasons Lane Kiffin wants to run more pistol is to get Henry going downhill.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. You're still allowed to take a gun snap, but then you can put the running back right behind the quarterback and you still get downhill type runs with Henry.
Henry again.
You got to credit Middle Tennessee, Tom. They've done a nice job of kind of forcing Henry to redirect himself, not allowing maybe once or twice in this ball game is he able to get downhill in a hurry and get his power going. You take away that power when you have him go laterally.
3rd and short. Derrick Henry cut down at the line of scrimmage. Not sure if he got it. Cavelis Luckett, the senior from McCall, Mississippi, first man to take him down.
Doing a nice job in run defense, even with this drive that Alabama's put together. They're in there fighting in the trenches and making it. It's a fair fight right now.
They're going to bring out the sticks to measure. So impressive with the Alabama offensive line in the run game last week. How come they haven't been able to find their rhythm today?
Well, it's what we discussed. Against the 3-4 defense, it's a little bit easier. Better blocking angles. You've got a center like Ryan Kelly that I've watched Pro Bowlers not execute the way he has in terms of challenging a nose tackle and working to the 2nd level of the defense. It's tougher to run against them when it's a 4-3 front, which Middle Tennessee presents. And they've done a nice job of getting penetration and reestablishing the line of scrimmage about a yard into Alabama's backfield.
Steady diet of Derrick Henry now on this drive. 4 carries for 22 yards. Pryor, only 3 carries for 3 yards.
It's Howard here on a flat route.
Coker looking that way. Goes to the end zone into coverage. And it is broken up by Ardarius Stewart. He turned himself into a defensive back. Cottrell and Byard were both there.
Byard almost had it on the deflection, but it was just about in the chest of Cottrell, and I think Luckett may have gotten a hand on this ball. Actually, the pressure by Luckett. But right here, it hits Cottrell, who's had his hands on a couple of them. And that one right to him.
8th play of the drive for Alabama. On 2nd and 10, Coker out to Stewart. He gets flipped at the line of scrimmage. Jeremy Cottrell, who originally committed to LSU, went the junior college route, ended up at Middle Tennessee State, and the Louisiana native with a big play.
Yeah, Lane just trying to get Jake Coker an easy throw, trying to get some rhythm established back in his game. You can tell with Jacob Coker, by his body language whether he's confident or not. And there's an air about him when he's playing well, but the flip side of it is you can see it when he's struggling.
Play clock at 4. Pressure coming. Coker incomplete. Flag on the play. Trying to find Mullaney on the slant. Jared Singletary in coverage.
A little bit early. Coker identified it, wanted to go to the slant right away, and got there. Singletary gets there a little bit early. You see him here. He identifies. There's the slant inside.
Pass interference, number 4 defense. The penalty is a first down at the spot of the foul.
In slow motion, the timing looked pretty good.
It was one of those that would have been, if you're a Middle Tennessee State fan, you're thinking, no, this isn't pass interference. It's a well-played, he doesn't really get a left hand on him. If you're Alabama, you're screaming that it's pass interference. I didn't think so.
So a fresh set of downs. First and goal, Derrick Henry dancing. Then it gets Submarine still able to get forward for 3. Cavelis Luckett with the tackle.
Luckett, 6'2", 240. He's played big. Led the team last week with 6 tackles. He's got solid range.
Henry is in. 3 touchdowns last week. His first today on a 2-yard plunge.
There's that offensive line working that we talked about at the top. Blocked by Taylor up front. Watch here, they get the push. A nice down block. Makes it easy for Derrick Henry to get into the end zone.
Adam Griffith for the extra point. Well, they turned it over to Derrick Henry on that drive, and he didn't disappoint. Henry, after carrying the workload to get him down in the end zone, takes it the rest of the way. Special thanks to the ladies of Alpha Chi Omega for showing their school spirit. Home opener here in Tuscaloosa.
Well represented. A lot of them with school spirit.
(14-3) Alabama with the lead. Thanks to Derrick Henry. Jared Singletary and Jeremiah Bryson back to receive. Alabama's got to hold it after the ball blew off the tee a moment ago. And that one drilled through the back of the end zone. Let's check in with Laura.
Well, Tom, Kirby Smart told us that Minkah Fitzpatrick, the freshman DB, would have to have a good game for them to do well. He's been spending a lot of time with Fitzpatrick one-on-one, teaching, explaining, trying to give him a little bit of anticipation for what's coming up next. And he's also telling this entire defense, guys, let's play big boy football. Let's use our size and physicality. Don't try to keep up with their speed.
Yeah, he's played down inside in the slot, their star position. That's when you have that spot, you're working against Richie James, who's a slot receiver. It's tough on a lot of stress on a true freshman in a game like this.
Stock still 10 of 16 for 99 yards through the air so far today. And play action trying to set up the screen. They do so. And a nice gain to Richie James. One of the other things interested about the freshmen that see the field for Alabama, Nick Saban told us yesterday, he said, we get together as a staff at the end of camp, and it's basically like the same meetings you have in the NFL putting together your roster. We decide then who are the guys who are going to contribute this season. Maybe not the guys who are ready to go week 1 and might mature week 5, 6, or 7. We want to make sure we got the best team on the field for later in the year. And that means playing freshmen that may not be as ready as an upperclassman, but to show the most promise, and you're going to develop.
And the assistants, the coordinators will fight him on it a little bit because they want the best players, the players they feel like they can depend on rather than an inexperienced freshman. But he feels like it's part of the development of the player as well. It can help out 5 to 6 weeks, as you mentioned, down the road when injuries or guys just start to get tired.
Fitzpatrick just got here, arrived in June, trying to go to the flat. Catch made by Jordan Parker on the run, and Cyrus Jones in on the tackle.
Nice catch there by Parker, knowing that he was going to take a shot. Cyrus Jones led him out in front. Jones had a running start, but still able to hold on to the football.
2nd and 8. Flicked over the middle, coverage by Ragland, trying to get it into the hands of Richie James. Marmy Foster.
He had what he wanted with Foster. He just got to sit in there, with a matchup against Foster, working against Richie James. You want that all day if you're Stockstill. 6'1", 240, working against a smaller slot receiver in space. They're going to stay base personnel. You want the matchup.
3rd and 8. A bullet to the outside.
Nice
diving
catch.
grab right at the marker by Ed Batiste.
Batiste is a playmaker. Junior college All-American at Kilgore Junior College. You see him right here. Nice job with the hands. This is a nice audition for him and a test. Playing against some guys that are going to go early in the draft. An opportunity for some scouts to see him play against some of the best here at Alabama.
They want to get him 8 to 10 touches a game. Thus far, Batiste 2 catches for 19 yards. Play clock at 4. They get it off and hand it off. Jordan Parker with a pickup of 2.
Nice job of softening up the outside. You saw the big pass out to Batiste. Richie James involved as well, and they get you spread out, and they come right underneath the handoff to Parker. Just to keep you honest in the run game, they want to throw it, so they want to keep you inside, suck you down inside, and then work the edges with those receivers.
Batted away at the line of scrimmage.
Well, he had Batiste on an underneath route that if he caught it, there was space. It looked like big Darren Lake with a hand on it to knock it away.
Yards in the first quarter for the Blue Raiders. Trying to add to their total here in the second. Stockstill. Long throw, deep. Hung it up, and it's picked off by Cyrus Jones. Trying to find Batiste. And Alabama with another takeaway. Third of the day.
Long throw, Tom, from the far right hash all the way back across the field to Batiste. And you let it stay in the air a little bit too long for Cyrus Jones, Alabama's best cover man.
Cyrus Jones, preseason first-team All-SEC selection. The former wide receiver made the switch, but still has the great hands. Jones with Bama's 3rd takeaway, and Alabama back on offense. All right, gang, thanks. The FCS, by the way, now 1-101 against the Associated Press top 10. That was a game of interest here in the Bryant-Denny press box. Watching overtime with Auburn trying to survive.
Crimson observers. What was going on at Auburn today, and trust me, they weren't rooting for Auburn.
After the interception, 6:18 to go in the half. Still Jake Coker at quarterback. And a little toss sweep to Kenyon Drake. That'll be a pass in the book for Coker, and Drake has the sideline. Here he goes, beating a block. He's got a convoy with him. Kenyon Drake dragged down from behind at the 1. 68-yard catch and run for Drake.
Well, he didn't see the defender that brought him down from behind as he was trying to set up the block of Stewart, number 13, out in front right here. Stewart does a nice job of holding off a defender for quite some time, and it allowed Kevin Byard to catch Kenyon Drake.
And now Henry again. Derrick Henry with his second score.
Big play by Kenyon Drake, a healthy Kenyon Drake, back at that 4.4 speed. Back to the player he was when he was a Georgia Gatorade Player of the Year out of high school. And then here's Drake. His job here, Henry, just securing the edge, getting in the end zone.
2 plays, covers 70 yards in just 24 seconds. Alabama, after the long run by Drake, got to the ball in a hurry, and they got it to Drake quickly, or got it to Henry, quickly. But it all set up by the interception, and then this.
Yeah, a little flip as he's coming in motion. They do a nice job, good kick out block there, and then it's off to the races. Ladarius Stewart's out in front along with Foster throwing blocks, fighting, and then that allowed Drake to get caught from behind. And here, a couple of nice blocks by big Cam Robinson. Being the first and most important that gave Derrick Henry the edge.
Alabama today has scored on each of its last 2 possessions. After 2 punts, a turnover on downs on 3 of its first 4.
Boy, Drake reminds me of a larger Darren Sproles. I think he can play that role in the NFL, where he's a return man, a punt returner, kick returner. He's excellent out of the backfield, and then you put him in a game and you do things like that with him. You know, imagine him in Philly's offense with Chip Kelly. Chip, if you're listening.
Here's Bryson from just outside the end zone. Nice return out to the 30. ESPN College Football. Stream every game live at home or on the go. Simply download the Watch ESPN app or visit watchespn.com. Lane Kiffin imagines Drake as a Reggie Bush type.
Yeah, I think it's just a larger Sproles in the way that they use, and that's a good comparison as well. But he's got wheels, he's got shiftiness, he can make you miss. And then the only reason why he was caught there is he's waiting on a block from Stewart to set itself, and then he's going to walk in the end zone.
That was a pass, the completion to Drake on that little touch pass.
Turnovers, the story for Middle Tennessee.
Out to the edge, and Christian Collis. Gain of 3. Marlon Humphrey, the freshman from Hoover. Bobby Humphrey's son with the stop.
Ellis had a nice game last week. 3 catches for 42 yards. Nice camp, and it really carried over into the season. It looks like he may have a shoulder injury here.
Well, he's been fighting injuries over the last couple of years. A senior from Opelika. And he'll visit with the athletic training staff. Hate to see that. 2nd and 7. Stockstill rolling to his strong side. Surveys, throws across his body and incomplete.
Oh, you got to catch that one.
A little bit of first down for Terry Pettis.
Not an easy catch, but still, to move the chains in a ball game like this, teams down, you need to make plays and help out a quarterback. It's on the move. This is one you got to have. There's a nice job right there. Sit, find an open area, and just catch it. Just come back to it and catch it.
Third down.
A man across the board. You may get a blitzer here off the edge.
They bring 2 extra men. Pass is complete in traffic. Humphrey had the coverage on Ducksworth. And it's ruled incomplete by the back judge. The official nearest had it
was an incomplete pass.
Ducksworth in the game for Collis.
See if he completed the action. He did not.
Nope. You see the ball come out right there. Excellent call by the back judge.
Cyrus Jones back to receive this punt. It's the first punt of the day for Trevor Owens in Middle Tennessee State. Owens had 2 punts, averaged 26 yards a punt last week against Jackson State. Jones will field it after a couple of hops and takes it out to the 38. Defender came in late. We've got a flag, extra yardage for Alabama.
Well, just mistakes by Middle Tennessee. Turnovers, penalties. On the road, you have to avoid those things. And they played a clean game last week against Jackson State. Only 1 penalty in the ball
After
game.
the runner was down, personal foul, late hit, number 98 kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
4:49 to go in the second. Darius Bennett with the late hit after the late return for Cyrus Jones after a 36-yard punt. .449 to go in the second quarter. Alabama now imposing its will on Middle Tennessee, especially with that punishing ground game. A man we haven't seen on the field thus far for Alabama is Cooper Bateman, the sophomore from just outside of Salt Lake City. He saw time in the second half last week. Lane Kiffin told Laura before the game today he wanted about equal snaps for Bateman and Coker, but they haven't gone there just yet. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think they want to see Jacob Coker in meaningful, a tight game type atmosphere, and he struggled a little bit early. He seems to have found a rhythm, so they're trying to let him play through some things, and I don't think you get that if you put Cooper Bateman in the game right now. You don't see what you have in Jacob Coker. It actually could be, it could go the other way on you because Coker could take it as I'm struggling and I've been pulled. So he needs the tough snaps. He needs to be in when the game is close.
Nick Saban saw that confidence from Jake Coker this week in practice. Derrick Henry talked to us about it. And so you'd hate to pop a hole in that balloon.
Before the delay, first charge timeout, Alabama. 30-second timeout.
4:49 remaining.
Got a decent first half. Jacob Coker, 10 of 17. As we saw there earlier, it's 170 yards and a touchdown. It's just, as a coach, you're going to nitpick at things that were there that maybe got away. I thought as well the offensive line may have contributed to some of those struggles.
He went 5 years between starts. Remember, he lost the starting competition to Jameis Winston while he was at Florida State, transferred, lost the competition to Blake Sims, who ended up being the most prolific passer in Alabama history. And last week, his first career start against Wisconsin was the first time he took the opening snap since the 5A playoffs in 2010 here in the state of Alabama. A senior from Mobile. On play action, looking way deep, and he dials long distance, overthrew it. It is ruled incomplete. Byard came up with it, intercepted by Middle Tennessee State. That is another pick for Byard, his 16th career interception.
They show the play fake, and they want to go down the field. And when you turn the film on, he had a couple of these last week against Wisconsin where they were underthrown. This one, you got double coverage on the back end. Check it down. Stewart's not there. He's well covered. And that's just a heck of an athletic play by Byard.
Byard had 6 picks last year.
You see him here with the number of the other defender back there.
Xavier Walker.
Yeah, Walker's on the back end, and he just fights and takes the ball away from Walker, who actually was in a little bit better position. He is a ball hawk. As you mentioned, 6 picks a year ago.
16 now for his career, the most among active players in the FBS. Shane Tucker is the running back. Corey McCarron is next to him from the end zone. This is where tough break. They didn't get the touchback.
I like the shot up here to Batiste.
Stockstill looks back to his right. We've got multiple flags.
They drop out and show a man look, press man.
Before the snap, ball start. Number 54 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Jalen Hunter, the left guard, watch him flinch right here. Just got out a little bit early. In Alabama, they can play downhill. It's almost like a punt. You don't want to see that type of turnover, but if you're going to throw an interception, it's okay. You can come back from this one because it actually pins Middle Tennessee, and if you can get off the field, you're going to get some pretty good field position.
To the outside, great hands by Rod Ducksworth, the junior from Taylorsville, Mississippi. Gain of 70.
He's a two-year starter behind Collis. Collis came in junior college, a two-year starter. He's a sophomore, had 50 receptions for over 850 yards and averaged about 17 yards a catch at Jones County Junior College.
Alabama able to get some subs in against the no huddle. Second down 3. Handoff. Tucker. Flag on the play.
Illegal formation. 5 in the backfield on the offense.
That's the second. One of them was declined by Alabama. So the third time Middle Tennessee State has had a formation penalty.
You'll see at the
penalties
tackle,
decline.
right at the top again, off the line of scrimmage. He's in the backfield. Got to have him up, and he's trying to get a jump start. Make it look like pass when you're running the football, and both times he's been caught that way. They've run the football. True freshman Chandler Brewer.
Play clock at 3 on 3rd and 3. Now at 1. Timeout, Middle Tennessee State.
Second charge timeout, Middle Tennessee. 30-second timeout.
So they'll talk about it with 3:29 to go. This is a big play for Middle Tennessee State to try and keep the ball out of Alabama's hands before the end of the half. Tide would have a short field once again. They scored on a short field in the first quarter. And now Bateman starting to get loose. Alabama will look differently with Cooper Bateman at the controls. Lane Kiffin was telling us yesterday his measurables, his 40 time, his shuttle run, nearly identical to Blake Sims.
And he allows them to go fast. You know, he's that quarterback that you can put him in the spread. He's got 4.5 speed. Actually spent some time at receiver because he's so athletic this spring. But nice game last week in limited playing time, going 7 of 8 for 51 yards and about an 87% completion percentage.
3rd and 3 out of the timeout. Trips to the left for the southpaw Stockstill.
They're showing pressure from the top. Here it comes.
And they run right into the pressure. Denzel Duvall came on the blitz and ran into Shane Tucker. No gain.
Nice job. You can see Duvall creeping in from outside. He's out over a slot, and he's coming at 6'2", 252. He's not going to defend or play pass defense against a slot.
Second punt for Trevor Owens. Cyrus Jones stands at Middle's 45. Alabama should have great field position. They come after it. Alabama blocks it out of the back of the end zone. Ronnie Harrison with the block, and it's a safety for the Tide.
Well, it just took forever, and there's got to be a sense of urgency when you're backed up and it's not the adequate distance to punt it out of there. You've got to rush this thing. He's taking way too long, and it allows Ronnie Harrison an opportunity to get a hand on it. Nice job of taking it right off the punter's foot and not going into him. Well, that's excellent work right there.
That was very nearly 6 for Michael Nicewander. The freshman Ronnie Harrison with congratulations on the Alabama sideline. And now put your helmet on, get back out there.
Can't celebrate too long. You got to go cover a kick. Let's go.
So now Trevor Owens, who just had his punt blocked, will come out for the free kick for Middle Tennessee. Last year he was playing high school ball. That was the first block punt for Alabama since September of 13 against Colorado State.
Yeah, that's a reinforced message to your punter when you're backed up that close to your own end zone. Hey, we got to get this. You can't take your time. You know, it's maybe a one step and let it rip. You can't allow yourself to get into your full stroke. You got to get that out as quickly as possible, and he takes way too much time.
Mullaney and Jones back to receive what will be a punt on the free kick from Trevor Owens. Mullaney from the 35. Here he goes to midfield. And with 2:34 to go, Jake Coker will return for this Alabama offense.
Yeah, wanted to see this offense go fast. Struggled in the first half a little bit. Way out wide into double coverage. Trying to go deep. The first deep shot almost right to Cottrell. Into double coverage here. He's lucky not to get that one picked, and then going deep. This is the one that Byard actually came up with the interception. Got to be a little bit more consistent at that position if you're Jacob Coker.
Laura?
Kiffin getting in Coker's face and saying you can't force it. If the play isn't there, don't try to make the throw. He's been really on him over these last few minutes, guys. We'll have to see how he can do right here.
Kenyon Drake in the backfield now for Alabama. Both quarterbacks missed on a couple of deep balls last week against Wisconsin. Both Coker and Bateman.
The ruling on the field of a fumble is under further review.
Oh boy.
Huh. That was returned by Richard Mullaney, the Oregon State transfer. Did you see it?
I missed that one. I mean, I thought he was well down on the ground. Knee was down, and take a look here. See him cut back inside. Ball's in the wrong hand, and that could lead to it. But
I thought his elbow was down.
I absolutely agree with you. There's a knee first and foremost, and then the elbow, and then the ball comes out after he's hit. So Alabama's going to maintain possession here. But when you carry the ball and you see the pursuit coming from inside, you've got to put that thing
After
in the
further
left hand
review,
and the right
the
hand.
ruling is the runner was down with the ball at the 50-yard line. There was no fumble. It's 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line.
You guys see that ball in his left hand coming from right to left. They are going to do everything they can to try to pop that thing out. It's got to be protected and away from your body on the other side and away from the defenders coming at you. Jacob Coker can get himself going. Good guy with a lively arm. They want to go fast. It's on his shoulders.
To the slant and caught. Robert Foster was a touchdown grab today with the catch in front of Kevin Byard, a gain of 6.
Foster starting to look like, playing like he was advertised coming out of high school.
Out of the pistol, this is Drake. Bounces for a first down.
It's nice to see him back at 100%. He was a fun player to watch work. Kenyon Drake. I mean that. I think he can play that Sproles rolling on the next level.
Coker facing a blitz over the middle, incomplete, trying to find Drake.
That's one you got to have. I mean, it's an easy throw. Starts outside, comes back in, and Drake's wondering, what happened as well. I tell you, there's the body language. You know when Coker's playing well, and you also know when things aren't going and he's uncomfortable.
Nick Saban told us his confidence was visible. He took command. He was assertive this week in practice, directing guys, making sure everybody's in the right place. All those things that you assume a quarterback would have. On 2nd and 10, another blitz coming off the hands of Ardarius Stewart, and incomplete. Stephen Rhodes.
I'll tell you what, Dominic Jackson could help him out a little bit as well. He's been beaten several times. Watch the right tackle at the top, just right around it. Nice job there by Stephen Rhodes with the pressure. And I don't care who you are playing quarterback. If you're getting heat like that, you're not going to complete very many.
Rhodes, 5 years active service in the United States Marine Corps. He said simply, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be a Marine. Married with 2 sons. They live in Nashville, and he makes the drive over every day to campus. He's had an impact this afternoon for Middle Tennessee State. On 3rd down, Coker facing another blitz. Complete to his tight end, O.J. Howard, but shy of the 1st down.
Well timed by Coker there. Nice throw, sitting in there, and then delivering the football. Waited on the break, put it right outside where it needed to be for O.J. Howard. Oh, is he physically gifted or what? Good looking tight end at 6'6", 242. Can run, nice edge blocker, and good soft hands to catch it.
Nick Saban will wait, milk the clock before taking a timeout here, facing a 4th and 4. And chatting on the field with his offensive coordinator. And they'll stop it with 1:02 to go in the half.
Second charge timeout, Alabama.
Sunday, SEC Rewind flashes back to the 2013 Missouri versus Georgia game in a top 25 matchup. An upset was looming. Sunday at 10 on SEC ESPN Network and streaming live at home or on the go on Watch ESPN. In that game, Missouri's quarterback James Franklin was injured. Matty Mock took over, led Missouri to 2 late touchdowns. And the Tigers' road win at Georgia. It was Missouri's first road win against a top 10 team since 1981. And it was a coming out party for the Tigers. First of 2 SEC East championships. SEC is loaded in the rankings today, matching a record held by 2 other conferences. With 10 teams in the top 25.
I'm not sure that Auburn's going to remain at 6 even with a win today against Jacksonville State. They are not playing like the number 6 rated team in the country.
Well, the 2 other teams that had such a percentage of their teams ranked in the top 25, neither one had more than 1 in the top 10. On the slant, that's complete for a first down to Robert Foster.
Big there because you don't want to give Middle Tennessee the ball back. That's a pressure situation, and you like to see your quarterback come through at that point in time in the game.
So Coker rolls now and delivers complete, and a crunching hit by Jamie Cottrell on Ardarius Stewart. We got a flag on the play. Hey, let's go back just a second, Andre. Why milk the clock and take that timeout if you're going to throw it then on 4th down?
Well, part of it's the chess matches where you're lulling them to sleep thinking we're going to maybe punt the football. Maybe they change personnel and you catch them in a personnel change. But you want to make sure if you're going to go for it on 4th down, you have the play that you want called correctly.
On the defense, 12 players on the field. That's 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
It's been amazing for Middle Tennessee. Rick Stockstill's usually, his bunch usually coached up a little bit better. They've made a tremendous amount of mistakes here in the first half of this ball game. He's an interesting story that we'll get into here a little bit later.
Coker on 1st and 5. Wow. Cottrell nearly stole that one.
And I think we're going to have a holding penalty against Dominic Jackson working against our Marine,
Holding,
Stephen Rhodes.
number 76 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Where Rhodes has just dropped anchor on that left side. The offense is right. And he's feeling pretty good about the matchup against Jackson.
That's a second holding call on Alabama's right tackle.
6'3", 248, and he looks like he's shot out of a cannon working along that right side of Bama's offense. Here we go again at the top.
An air traffic controller in the Marines. And he almost got to Coker there. Coker on the run, flicks it to the sideline.
No foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was outside the pocket.
Excellent decision by Coker because it takes you out of field goal range if you take a sack here. Boy, nice job there by Jackson of getting Rhodes on the ground. Initially, I thought he was beaten again.
He's diverted a few flights today.
No doubt about it.
2nd and 15. Long throw, a little bit high, but hauled in by Robert Foster. Makes a move and takes it inside the 15. Wow. Byard with the tackle for Middle.
That's all Robert Foster climbing the ladder to make and secure the catch, but the quicks and the athletic ability after the catch.
Now Alabama going tempo, caught Middle Tennessee in a personnel switch. Coker over the middle, caught inside the 10. It's Drake. Alabama's got a timeout left. They'll take it after gain of 8.
Nice job of Coker
Third
there.
and final timeout, Alabama.
Not forcing
timeout.
the issue and then completely scanning the field from left to right and then checking it down to Kenyon Drake. It's tempting. You see Foster here. Watch how high he goes to bring that in and then making a guy miss right up the field, just the way you coach it. And then watch Coker go to work here. He wants the corner out. It's not there. They're deep in coverage. Right back down to Kenyon Drake, the last option in that play.
Coker 6 of 9 on the drive for 49 yards. With 5 seconds left in the half, they'll bring the kicking team on. Adam Griffith missed a pair against Wisconsin from 44 and 39 yards respectively. Nick Saban defended his special teams this week, especially his punter and his kicker.
Just nice to see Griffith healthy again. He battled a stress fracture in his back most of last season.
24-yard attempt. Outside the upright. He's missed his last 3.
I don't know if you can defend that.
That was a chip shot from 24.
Into the second quarter.
So that takes us to the half. Alabama with a 20-point lead. Middle Tennessee will have the option to receive the second half kickoff. A slow start for the Tide, able to put it together late. Our score at the half, Alabama 23, Middle Tennessee 3. We'll hear from Laura Rutledge with Coach Saban coming up in the Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report after these messages. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa, where Alabama has built a 23-3 lead over Middle Tennessee State in the home opener. Right as the half started, Laura Rutledge had a chance to catch up with Bama head coach Nick Saban, who was not at all pleased with his team's performance.
Coach Jake Coker, 15 of 26, 214 yards. How would you assess his play in the first half?
Well, I don't think we're playing very well as an offensive team. You know, we're not executing very well. You know, we're not reading things and hitting people when they're open. We're not pass protecting very well, so we're just not playing very well. I don't think that's all the quarterback's fault, but I think he's got to do things a little better as well.
You said you wanted to get Cooper Bateman in this game. Will we see him in the second half?
Yes, we will.
Thank you, Coach.
And so it's as simple as that. Tom Hart with Andre, where the question in the first half was, when would we see Cooper Bateman? And I guess now, after hearing Nick Saban's tone, it's why would we see Cooper Bateman? Are you taking something from his tone that would suggest that he's not happy with Coker's play, or this is part of the schedule?
I know they want to go faster and they want to speed things up. They haven't been able to do that with any type of rhythm with Jacob Coker. So I think it's just as simple as, okay, we've got a comfortable lead, a 20-point lead in this ball game. Let's see if we can get our offense into a rhythm with Cooper Bateman. I think we're going to see him at some point here early in the second half.
How do you do that without hurting Jake Coker's confidence, or do you concern yourself with that?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope in terms of keeping Jacob Coker, his confidence level up. Honestly, I don't know that I would do it at this point in the game, but just off the comments of what Coach Saban made, you got to expect him to be in the ball game at some point here early. If this is a decision type move right now, because let's just say Bateman goes in here and lights it up the remainder of the ball game. Now you're right back to square one, where they thought they moved away from last week after Wisconsin.
And Saban's point wasn't that we're not getting great quarterback play. He said we're not doing anything right on offense, so let's not put it all on the quarterback.
Well, we've talked about Dominic Jackson and his matchup against Steven Rhodes. That's a deal you go to. Not being able to run the ball consistently. You know, things of that sort are what he's talking about.
Here's Jeremiah Bryson deep in the end zone, and he will take a knee. When you crunch the numbers on this first half, very different second quarter for Alabama than it was in the first. Alabama with only 39 yards on the ground against a team from Middle Tennessee State at a Conference USA. You would assume they could push around a little bit. 3 turnovers have been killer for Middle.
Been actually impressed, even with giving up 23 points with Middle Tennessee's defense. It's the glaring stat that was there. The 3 turnovers is the difference in this ball game. They don't turn it over. They've got more points, maybe get into the end zone. It's a different flavor to start the second half of this ball game if they don't turn it over 3 times.
Blue Raiders have to be pleased with the tempo. They got 48 snaps in the first half. They ran 95 last week. Swing out to Batiste. And he lost the football. They put it on the ground again. Was he down?
I think the official there, maybe the line judge, is saying that his knee was indeed down. And if the whistle's blown, he's blown down. That ball is out.
And was there a clear and immediate recovery despite the whistle? And it certainly was.
Certainly looks that way.
Eddie Jackson gobbled it up. Reuben Foster is the injured player.
On the runner down, it's under review.
Boy, this is how Middle Tennessee started the game. This will be the 4th turnover of the ball game here. Alabama going to be set up with some pretty good field position at the Middle Tennessee 29-yard line.
Reuben Foster in some pain.
When you hate to see that. He's fought through so much and is playing so well here early in the season for Alabama. But you'll see here Eddie Jackson reaching in there, raking the football out. There's clearly space between the knee and the grass. Ball's out.
And a clear and immediate recovery.
By Eddie Jackson. Caused the fumble and recovered the fumble.
Doyle Jackson is our replay official here today and gives us an opportunity to send our condolences to the family of Jim Allison, longtime SEC official. He's been working as a replay official. He passed away on Tuesday. And the officials on the field throughout the weekend wearing a black armband today in his honor. Jim was an umpire for more than 2 decades and a replay official for the last 10. This would be the 4th turnover of the game for Middle Tennessee State.
I don't know if it would be. I think it is. Definitely. And this is where, Tom, when you want to break a game open at 23-3, and you get possession, you get field position like this.
After further review, the ruling is the ball was fumbled with an immediate recovery by the defense. The ball will be 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line, Alabama.
Now this is where you take that shot to the end zone. This is where you step on the gas a little bit and really assert yourself early here in the second half. And it looks like Cooper Bateman's going to take the field for the Crimson Tide.
Coker helmet off. Bateman, the sophomore from just outside of Salt Lake City, was 7 of 8 passing for 51 yards against Wisconsin. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast, such a great athlete. They used him at wide receiver in the spring before he returned to the quarterback race. It was a 5-man race, eventually won by Coker.
Went in and talked to Coach Saban after spring ball. How can I get better? He says, you got to work on your accuracy. He's worked the offseason with quarterback coach Scott Cattell, and he did just that. He increased his accuracy.
Nothing doing on the handoff to Derrick Henry. Jeremy Cottrell, junior from Kentwood, Louisiana, came crashing in from its cornerback spot.
He's worked with the same quarterback coach since his freshman year in high school. His accuracy got better, put himself right in the race to be Alabama's starting quarterback. And that's why he's really on the field this early in the season at this point in the ball game.
They'll run more pistol with him. They do it here, and he swings it out to Stewart. Hit behind the line of scrimmage, and they're going backwards in 2 plays after Henry was stoned. Now Kevin Byard comes up, and it's a loss of 2 on Stewart.
Boy, Tyrone Nix has actually got to be pretty proud of the way his defensive unit, the defensive coordinator from Middle Tennessee, has kind of stayed in the box and fought and hadn't gotten blown off the ball or overwhelmed by Alabama offensively. And they've actually gotten off the field when they needed to.
A name familiar to SEC fans.
Yep.
His squad showing blitz here on 3rd and 13. They bring 4 off the hand of Kenyon Drake.
And if you want the job and you're Cooper Bateman, that's a throw you've got to complete. Short arms it to Kenyon Drake. He should still be running. But that's one you got to hit. Easy ones like that, you stroke it in there. Standing there, you throw that pass every day, but sometimes the toughest ones, Tom, are when they're just wide open standing there.
49-yard attempt now for Griffith. He missed a chip shot at the end of the half. Had a couple of good strokes in the in the win against Wisconsin, excuse me, but just missed him. And this one will head short.
Well, that's a competition that might open itself up. And there's Tyrone Nix. You see him right there trying to, he's congratulating his bunch. They've gotten off the field again. I don't know. It looked like a high snap that may have thrown the timing off of this for Griffin. Watch the snap. It's a little bit high. Bateman gets it back down, but by then, Griffin's rhythm is totally thrown off.
It's a happy coordinator. So back to work for Brent Stockstill. Parker joins him in the backfield. Quick hitter to the outside, Richie James down the sideline.
Yeah, may have stepped out of bounds right about the 43-yard line or so, but this quick job of attacking the defense after getting the ball back on downs. They hold up. Now at some point, if you're Middle Tennessee State, you've got to start rewarding your defense.
Number 80, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
A lot of bodies down there along the sideline. Alabama can't really locate those flags. We'll see right here, Batiste holding and working against Cyrus Jones. Let's see who they flag.
That'll back him up. Blue Raiders facing 1st and long. Down the sideline. Push off and a grab by Batiste, and this one might be coming back. Jones had the coverage.
Quick flags today. That just looked like a good football play. If anything, Jones didn't turn around.
Gain of 29 will be taken off.
Got to see if he climbed the back of Jones to elevate himself. It may have pushed off as well.
Pass interference, number 81 offense. Half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Let's take a look here. It's the one-on-one matchup. Stockstill locates it. And right here it goes back and just, I don't know that I see much there, to be quite honest. Maybe that's just the offensive player in me coming out. But I don't see much there to where it's a flag.
It leaves 1st and 30. Stockstill pulled it back. Nice nifty move to get to the inside of the defender. Reggie Ragland brings him down. Fantastic visit with Reggie yesterday. Did he surprise you when he walked in with the Ren and Stimpy t-shirt?
I tell you, it did, and it was a great visit with him. Well, what a refreshing conversation with a very mature young man that has all his business in order.
That was Reggie's 8th tackle of the game. He had a team-high 12 against Wisconsin.
He's kind of laid back, likes to listen to a little Marvin Gaye. He told us his favorite movie was House Party, all 4 of them.
And I'm with him through the first 2, but when he said 3 and 4, I can't agree.
He's got all 4 and he watches them. Those are his favorites. And I'm like, the movie was made basically when you were about 1 year old.
3rd and 21. Richie James short-armed that one in traffic. And Middle Tennessee will have to punt it away.
We're going to have some decent field position here with any type of return by Cyrus Jones.
Trevor Owens has been a little bit inconsistent for Middle Tennessee.
This is message time for Rick Studstill.
Jones from the 39. Taken down at the 45. 40-yard punt, 6-yard return. See if Alabama can get it going with Cooper Bateman at the controls when we return. Alabama leads Middle Tennessee by 20 here in the 3rd quarter. Alabama's gotten tremendous play at center. Over the last number of years, it was All-American Barrett Jones. He handed off to Ryan Kelly, and Kelly's been impressive through 2 games.
Yeah, I've seen NFL centers who can't do this with a nose guard on top of them. They're actually able to shed and pass off to the right guard and work to the 2nd level. That creates a nice running lane for Derrick Henry, and then he's off to the races against Wisconsin. Fast forward to today, here he is in the middle again, got a nose guard right on top of him. He's the guy that's going to pave the way, clear a nice running space for Derrick Henry. I think he's the best in the country at what he does. Turn on the film, and that's what you see right away.
Here's Kenyon Drake, and he's got a 1st down. Ryan Kelly is a 3-time academic honor roll selection. He's in graduate studies with a 3.75 GPA, and what the coaches pointed out to us is there's nothing that the defense is going to do that he hasn't seen already.
I tell you what, he's a Remington Award. He's on that list. Keeps playing the way that he's playing right now. They may rename it to Kelly.
Here's the toss to Drake. Looking for room. And he picks up 8 on 1st down. Trey Wofford with the stop.
And who's out in front? Right on time is Ryan Kelly leading the way.
Did you know here at Alabama you can take an Outland Trophy class? It's a graduate class in the sports marketing program. Where else would you rather be?
In a class talking football and award winners putting a list together, or potential award winners.
Kelly got to the 2nd level, and then Bateman scrambles for a 1st down. In fact, they've created their own measurement. We got a flag late.
Yeah, that defender went high. May have hit Bateman. Maybe Byard here, 20 coming in late. And could be helmet to helmet. That is tough. This is when there's gray area in this rule for me.
After the runner was down, personal foul, late hit, number 20 defense with targeting. 15-yard penalty, correction, half the distance to the goal. The play is under review.
An ejection here would cost Bayard the first half of the next game against Charlotte.
It would really hurt Middle Tennessee defensively. He's just trying, he's coming in, he can't really pull up. But the one thing that you can argue there is that you got to see what you hit, and his head just dips right at the last half second, and that's what causes the penalty.
So the officials in the replay booth will take another look at the targeting. They're talking about the Outland Trophy class that they have here at Alabama by selection only, and one of the kids in the class is Henry Schneider, who is a manager on this Alabama team, and he's come up with the Schneider scale, a way to compare linemen, both offensive and defensive linemen.
After further review, the ruling is the targeting is confirmed. Number 20 is disqualified. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's a tough break as Bayard has to lead. Compare the linemen so you get a measurable for guys that typically don't have measurables, and help the folks that vote for the Outland Trophy to kind of give them some numbers. We told Nick Saban about it yesterday. He had no idea they had an Outland Trophy class. His first response, well, how does that help the program? Well, Ryan Kelly's number 3 on the Schneider scale already.
Yeah, they're having the class here the way he's playing. Well, you'd be at the top of that list. Show some home cooking.
So Kelly over the ball. Derrick Henry in the backfield next to Cooper Bateman. Trying to create some room for Kenyon Drake. And he's to the 5. Dances his way to the goal line. Flipped right at the line, and he's in. Touchdown Alabama and Kenyon Drake.
We'll review this. Looking at it in real speed, it looked as though he may have been just shy right there. I'm not sure when he touches. Cottrell is the guy that comes in and meets Kenyon Drake. Maybe not.
They're not going to take a look. 4-play, 55-yard scoring drive. Give you another look. Back at your couch at home. Drake got flipped right as he was nearing the front edge of the goal line. Was the ball across when he was down? They say it was, and it's another Bama score.
SEC Network Football is brought to you by Delta Faucet. See what Delta can do.
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow. Home opener here in Tuscaloosa, and the young Tide fans having a great time. Perfect weather. Cold front came through last night, dropped the mercury down a little bit. What a pleasant day at Bryant-Denny Stadium. With a 30-3 lead, this is Jeremiah Bryson from the goal line. And he is brought down shy of the 20. Another look at Kenyon Drake's touchdown run.
I thought it was at least worth a look. You see here Derrick Henry out in front blocking, and well, he can change directions as well as anyone at that position. Right there.
The ball ended up over the goal line. My only question was it over the goal line?
Where did he touch down? Was it his hand as he was trying to brace himself for the fall? Did the back of his leg already touch? Or did the knee touch? They would at least take a look at it just to make sure. But
his 2 biggest plays have come on those toss sweeps. That touchdown was a touchdown pass from Bateman, and he also had the 68-yard gain on the same play from Coker. Pass complete to the edge. And a first down. Let's check in with Laura.
Well, Tom, over here on the Alabama defense, they're working on Reggie Ragland's shoulder before this possession. They were also working on Reuben Foster's left shoulder. They put some ice in Foster's jersey, took it out. He seemed to be okay. Same with Ragland, but just something to keep an eye on.
Well, good to see Foster back on the field, Laura. Wears those shoulder braces each and every day on both right and left shoulders. And he comes up and makes a punishing hit after a gain of 5.
Oh boy. I'll tell you what, that was some smack right there on Brent Stockstill. They motion out and basically empty things out. It forces the 2 linebackers outside and they run the quarterback draw. It's exactly what you want defensively if you're Middle Tennessee, but you don't want your quarterback taking shots like that.
Here's Shane Tucker, wrapped up after a gain of 1 by Jaron Reed, the senior from Goldsboro, North Carolina. One of the concerns from Kirby Smart about his defense and some of the guys up front, he said, quite simply, we have to tackle better. Going back to what you said in the first half, that Middle Tennessee will show better skill guys, and the field is more wide open than what Wisconsin presents.
No doubt about it. You sit in the box against Wisconsin, it's exactly what Kirby Smart wants to do. This, on the other hand, is not what he likes to do in terms of trying to defend Middle Tennessee.
Incomplete, looking for Demetrius Frazier. We talked to Nick Saban about getting ready for this offense and then the carryover between how you prepare for Middle Tennessee and how you prepare for Ole Miss. He said, listen, when I was in the NFL, we had basically 3 different offenses to prepare for, and they weren't that different. The West Coast, different from the pro sets that we saw. He said, now, these days in college football, I believe there are 10 times as many different offenses that you have to prepare for.
Yeah, and they've actually started down that road themselves in terms of changing offensively, wanting to go faster, more spread type sets, simplifying the terminology in their offensive playbook.
A lot of hang time on this one. Jones asks for a fair catch and takes it just outside of the 30. Alabama leads Middle Tennessee 30-3. We'll be back to Tuscaloosa in a moment. All right, Dari, thank you. Brandon Allen hasn't thrown a touchdown, but he has thrown a pick today for the Hogs. Here, Alabama rolling up 30-3 over Middle Tennessee. Around the SEC today, Auburn escaped Jacksonville State in overtime. Tennessee has an early lead at Neyland Stadium against Oklahoma. It's still to come tonight. Dak Prescott and Mississippi State welcoming LSU. It's now the season opener for LSU after they were canceled last week against McNeese.
Well, that stat's hard to believe. 2-29 against ranked teams since 09, Tennessee.
Wow. They haven't faced a ranked team, non-conference team at home since Jeff Tedford brought Cal in there almost 10 years ago. Here's Cooper Bateman out of the shotgun, finding Kenyon Drake. Drake spun around, 3 different Blue Raiders on top of him, led by Jared Singletary. Loss of 3.
Pop quiz for you. You brought up the name. Where's Jeff Tedford?
I know he's probably in front of a grease board.
You're absolutely right. He's in British Columbia, coaching in the CFL, the head coach up there in Vancouver.
So he's got an extra man, and his guys get a running start. That's hardly fair.
And he's an offensive-minded football coach. BC Lions.
Here's Drake, got a man running in front of him. Nice cutback behind Ryan Kelly. Well, Kelly moves pretty good for center, huh?
I'll tell you what, he's a star. I think he's going to play in the NFL a long, long time. Watch him pull. We showed you the work inside, but look at him pull, get outside, looking for contact. Yeah, that's excellent work by the big guy.
Oh, nearly intercepted. Cooper Bateman put it right on the money to Alex Dale.
Yeah, I don't know if Chris Black pulled up. Bateman thought he was going to go outside, but Bateman got lucky here. But Dale didn't take this one to the house. I mean, it's right there. Just hit him right in the one, right in the center of his chest. He shoots it outside. It's zone coverage. Just put it right on the receiver.
Batiste back to return. J.K. Scott, the sophomore of J.K. Mullen High School in Denver, to kick it away. Beauty. Fair catch at the 22. And Scott with a 42-yarder. Sunday, SEC Soccer is on SEC ESPN Network. The Kentucky Wildcats and Wisconsin Badgers face off at 3 p.m. exclusively on the SEC ESPN Network and streaming live at home and on the go on Watch ESPN. A 42-yard punt that time from Scott, who averaged 48 yards a punt last year. His gross and his net were better than any punter in college football or the pros.
Struggles for this offense. And basically it boils down to turnovers, Tom. That's what it's been for Middle Tennessee.
A quartet of them over the middle, open, complete to Richie James. He's had a nice day. 9th catch of the day for Richie James. That one goes for 18.
And then you'll have one of those, a play like that or a play to Batiste, and then it gets called back, a penalty, a hold, where it just kills the momentum of this football team, and then you mix in a turnover, and then it's all downhill from there.
Here's Jeremiah Bryson, pickup of 5. Talk about the front 7, Andre, being loaded for Alabama. We haven't seen a lot of great play from the defensive line. Is that because that they've been negated by the tempo and the no huddle?
Well, they can't substitute. They can't get guys in and getting that rotation that they have. Talking to Kirby Smart, it's the deepest that they've been along the defensive front maybe since they've been here. And so when you keep one unit on the team the entire time, I mean on the field the entire time, they tend to wear down when you can't substitute.
Flag on the play. Jaron Reed was in on that tackle. His 6th.
Illegal substitution. 12 players on the field on the defense. The 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Now they're trying to substitute against a no huddle. Kirby Smart's squad ended up with 12 on the field.
Yeah, as we told you earlier, they like to do this when it's closest to their sideline. When the ball's on the what would be the offense's left hash right here is when Alabama tries to sneak some players in.
Here's Tucker. It's really amazing that you have this coaching staff, right, with Nick Saban and Kirby Smart in his 9th season, Lane Kiffin on the offensive side. These guys are best at what they do, yet in their self-scout in the offseason, they realized they needed to change, and ego didn't get in the way of change.
Yeah, on both sides. I mean, you're talking Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, adjusting things. We had a long conversation with him about that very thing.
Stock still throws up his back foot. And finds the Alabama sideline.
Lane came in with all this verbiage, the West Coast offense. You want players to play fast. You want players to play early and take advantage of their athletic gifts. You've got to give them something simple as young players so that they can contribute. All that stuff, sitting in the huddle forever, listening to the quarterback recite poetry. Yeah, it sounds cute and, you know, all that, but can I go play and execute it as I'm sitting there trying to figure out what I do in all that language? It's tough. You just call something, you know, whatever it is, flag, and everybody knows what to go do on that particular play. You can go a little bit faster offensively.
Play clock now at 3. 3rd and 6. Oh, dangerous pass. Went to the inside of Ron Ducksworth. Marlon Humphrey with the coverage.
Got away with one. This is thrown outside. It's actually first down. He throws it inside where Humphreys was sitting and had better position for the throw than the intended receiver Ducksworth.
Nice punt. Down by Middle Tennessee inside the 5. Let's go down to the field and check in with Laura Rutledge, standing by with Alabama's new head men's basketball coach, Avery Johnson.
All right, well, thank you, Tom. And, Coach, I've been seeing this hashtag all day, Avery Day. How's the fan reception been for you so far here at Alabama?
The fan reception has been phenomenal. And I don't know about the all day, Avery Day. I know about two things, Roll Tide and Buckle Up. That's kind of what I know about. But the fan reception has been great. And more than anything, Coach Nick Saban and his staff has been very critical in my transition here to the University of Alabama. They've been helping us in all three phases of the game, recruiting, academics, and athletics.
What can you say about the excitement around basketball this time of year? How has that been for you?
From what I've heard from our students, our fans, and all of our supporters, the University of Alabama, the excitement around basketball right now has never been as high as it is, especially during this time of the season, which is obviously football season. So we really appreciate it. My coaching staff's been working hard. Our players have been working hard. But again, it's been a collaborative effort between football and basketball and all of our sports that's here at the University of Alabama.
It was really important for you to move the fans even closer to the floor. Tell us a little bit about what fans can expect from the fan experience at your games.
Yeah, and it's not just the fans, it's our students. We've moved about 2,000 of our students closer to the action, across from the visitors' bench, and they're excited about it. Yesterday, I went and talked to our $1 Million band. We're going to have a bigger band this year. So we're making improvements all across the board. We're remodeling a lot of our players' lounges, the locker rooms, my offices. We're really excited about where we're taking this program.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. Tommy's like a senator down here.
Hey, neighbor for a long time, great many years. Down in Texas, and nobody's going to outwork Avery Johnson, that's for sure.
Well, he's already getting it done. He's one of 4 new head coaches in the SEC, and Avery Johnson he and his staff have been killing it on the recruiting trail. Nice to see his lovely wife, Cassandra,
stopped by to say hello today. And they're excited about being here in Tuscaloosa. I can tell you this, they're going to win here. That guy and his energy and passion, the players will feel it. Recruits will feel it. Parents of recruits will feel it.
Derrick Henry tripped up. Maybe got a yard. That will leave 3rd down. Avery had a big old tailgate out before the game today.
He's jumped in feet first, that's for sure.
And Derrick Henry just hasn't gotten on track in this one like he did last week. 13 carries, 33 yards. Now the pistol again. Henry gets the 1st down. A lot of stutter stepping from Derrick Henry today that we didn't see last week.
That's what I was talking about earlier in terms of reestablishing the line of scrimmage. You know, about a yard behind him. There's a tremendous push by Middle Tennessee in the middle, and then the focus. A lot of focus on stopping Derrick Henry in this ball game.
Back to action. Here's Henry again. Got tripped up. Gain of 3.
They came in with a plan not to allow big plays to him, and we visited with him yesterday, got a chance to talk to him. He's a big young man. And I don't know that I would have the courage to step in front of him and try to bring him down head on. No way.
On 2nd and 7, Henry this time moving fast.
That's that full head of steam you've been waiting to see for most of the ball game. And now you start to look defensively. A lot of snaps being played by Middle Tennessee State's defense. And you don't have that offensive production and the offense is turning it over, or the lack of production. You're going to play a lot of snaps on defense.
Of his yardage last week, 72 of the 147 came after contact. Career high 3 touchdowns. They'll let the clock tick down a little bit. Here's Henry. Straight at the hash. Into Middle Tennessee territory. Way wide, finally brought him down.
You know, you talk about him, and he can certainly, do this. He can get downhill. Nice block by Jackson, the right tackle, to wash everything down. That opened things up for him. But where I've been most impressed with Derrick Henry is in pass protection He's gotten better as a receiver out of the backfield. You can play a young player and just say, hey, go run the football. Most of them can do it. But to stay on the field, you've got to be able to protect the quarterback. And blitzers just don't want to run into his frame.
On play action, Bateman fires incomplete. Good coverage by Xavier Walker, the senior from Duluth, Georgia.
College transfer. Was big last year. Had a great year, 67 tackles and added a pick. Finished the season with those 67 tackles, third on the team in that category a year ago.
Second and 10. Complete to the edge to Calvin Ridley. Back from his knee injury. Hard worker, the freshman. Gain of 17.
Top receiver in the class of 2015. You see here, nice read here by Bateman and anticipation as well. Zone coverage, you get the ball out. You win with your eyes as a quarterback. Holding the outside linebacker. T.T. Barber inside.
Here's Henry again, and he will take it in again. 28-yard touchdown run for Derrick Henry. 6 touchdowns in 2 games for Alabama's monster.
He walked in with that cutoff T-shirt on, sleeves cut out of it, big old shoulders.
Friday afternoon gun show yesterday.
I mean, it was amazing. Just a physical specimen walking into the room, and I'm like, that's a running back? You kidding me?
Caps an 11-play, 97-yard drive for Alabama. Extra point is good. 37-3. I don't know if it's a running back. It might be a truck. Derrick Henry with 3 touchdowns again. Checkerboard might be rocking there, Dari, in Knoxville.
Could be a tough place to play this year. We got a chance to see Tennessee last week against Bowling Green, and 2 good backs that really complement one another. Kamara and Jalen Hurd, a good dynamic young quarterback. And Josh Dobbs.
They got a bunch of running backs in that game. Samaje Perine's been held to just 16 yards by the Tennessee D. Bryson got leveled at the 15-yard line. A special team stick. Oh, nice wander, laid him out. His dad's a morning DJ. He's got the hits, though. Spinning records in Birmingham. He just spun that returner in the next week.
Excellent special teams player, walk-on, who contributes on special teams, and they use him like a fullback at times in certain formations. But boy, it's a big kiss right there.
Middle Tennessee down 34. Brent Stockstill back to work. 19 of 35 for 164 yards. He won the off-season competition with last year's starter, Austin Grammer. Stockstill trying to go for the pump and go. Into coverage. Leaping attempt off the hands of Terry Pedersen, complete.
If you look at it, you know, Austin Grammer, they went 6-6. Didn't play bad. Completed 65% of his passes for over 2,500 yards. 17 touchdowns and 12 picks. I mean, it wasn't bad, but they wanted to throw the ball. They wanted to be able to throw it with, they wanted to throw first, run second. And Brent Stockstill won the job and allows them to do just that.
Well, they went 1-3 in November. Cost them a chance to get to a bowl. And talking with the coaching staff this week, Rick Stockstill said, listen, last year had nothing to do with making the decision for this year. It was an open competition. I believe in competition. We tell our guys every offseason that every position is up for grabs.
And he said it wasn't just quarterback. Other guys lost starting jobs, offensively and defensively.
3rd and 6. Looking deep, checks down to a crossing route. And Batiste is brought down just short of the stick. They'll bring up 4th and 1.
Punt it away here again.
And Alabama will end up with great field position.
Yeah, that's as a receiver, you've got to know where you are on the field. Maybe take that route up another yard and a half, where when you make sure when you're tackled that you fall past the down and distance mark and you've got the first down.
Cyrus Jones stands at the 35. Wow. That was a fantastic punt from Trevor Owens. And we've got
End of the
3
third
quarters in the books here in Tuscaloosa. That was a 48-yard punt. Derrick Henry with some punishing runs for Alabama. The home opener going the home fans' way. They're trying to run their home win streak to 17 games and a quarter away from doing just that. Alabama has played 2 quarterbacks today. Jake Coker got the start, 15 of 26 for 214, a touchdown and a pick. Cooper Bateman has seen action here in the second half, 5 of 8 for 32 yards and a touchdown and a touch pass to Kenyon Drake.
Very respectable numbers from Coker. I think, and they want to go fast. There's more responsibility on the quarterback, and so you're going to have to take care of it, make some better decisions.
Bateman goes over the middle, incomplete, trying to find the freshman Ridley.
And the coaching staff, they are super high on Ridley. Consistency is what they want to see from him, but he's talented true freshman. Mentioned earlier, ranked as the top wide receiver in the 2015 class.
He's drawn comparisons to Amari Cooper already. He was the 4th overall pick of Oakland, one of 7 Alabama players drafted. First carry for Damian Harris, a freshman from Kentucky. Quay White with the tackle.
And the starting offensive line still trying to gel, so he hasn't made a move there to substitute up front. These guys are still getting reps, but pretty much every skill position, with the exception of O.J. Howard. Some younger players getting some experience.
Pressure, incomplete. Once again trying to find Ridley. One thing that Lane Kiffin has done to simplify things in the Alabama offense, we saw it from Ridley, is limiting guys to one side of the field. He said in the past we put a wide receiver, they may play on the right side, the left side, we'll switch them around. It allows us to go faster, and it allows the wide receiver to know exactly who they are and where they're supposed to be.
You're basically learning one spot. And then as you get a little older, you start to put a little more on their plate. Once they grow a little bit and know exactly what's required for that one spot, then you start mixing and matching, adding some motions to what you do as well. But it is to go fast. Good punt.
Another good one from J.K. Scott. Batiste got bowled over, and that'll be kick-catch interference and then some on the freshman Calvin Ridley. Well, did he get him?
You got to know where you are. And Ridley just goes down there. He's actually had a couple of plays where he dropped 2 I thought he had his hands on and should have made the catch, and then you go down and make that mistake. This is what you're going to get from the head coach.
Kick catch interference, number 3, kicking team. Penalties 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Celebrating its 11th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Since 2005, Allstate has donated millions in scholarship funds. 37-3 Alabama. Stockstill to throw. Lobs one out. They finally whistle a dead forward pass. Jordan Parker, the intended receiver. What What is Middle Tennessee looking for here in the fourth quarter out of their offense?
Well, some execution, and to really stop shooting themselves in the foot. Because they've gotten momentum, they've moved the football with consistency at times, and then mistakes always take them backwards. And that's what he's looking for, some consistency offensively. I think they're going to be they're going to have a great season in Conference USA. They've got a lot of talent.
Batted down at the line of scrimmage by Jaron Reed.
And really not just on offense. I think defensively they've held up, I think more so than a lot of people expected them to. I know the scoreboard at this point doesn't reflect it, but the turnovers helped contribute to that as well. Big Jaron Reed in there getting his paws on one.
They hit him again, that time on the release. He got drilled by Jonathan Allen. I think it was only a 4-man rush.
Yeah, 4 guys up front, no pressure. They lose track of him. Jalen Hunter is who he was working against.
Trevor Owens to kick it away. That's Cyrus Jones. Trying to angle it. Nicely done. Alabama in control in the home opener against Middle Tennessee. Alabama leads Middle Tennessee 37-3 now. Tide broke this game open on a quick 2-play drive in the second quarter. Here's how it sounded on the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Here's the Tide snapping it off the far hash mark. Kenyon Drake gets the toss again with lead blocking from Derrick Henry. Kenyon kicks to the near side. He's got speed. He's to the 40, down to the 30. He's to the 20. He's got blockers. He's going to go to the 3-yard line. Now Bama first and goal, officially from the 2. Here's the give. Derrick Henry walks it in over the left side. Touchdown, Alabama.
The incomparable Eli Gold on the call. That 6 to 8 yard splash and go to Kenyon Drake is what set him up for the touchdown plunge.
Cam Robinson, pretty good O-lineman in his own right.
There's Calvin Ridley, that freshman you've been raving about. He takes it on the sweep for a pickup of 11.
Yeah, you can see why he's drawing the comparisons to Amari Cooper. Basically same body type, same movements. Gets those hands a little more consistent. He's going to be dangerous in this offense.
No one has hit more draft picks than the Tide over the last 5 years, 37 of them. Here's the toss to Stewart. That's a pass from Bateman, and he's able to slip out at the edge. And how about the headlines made by Marcel Darius this week? Buffalo's defensive tackle, 6-year extension, $100 million, $60 million guaranteed. That's the most for a non-quarterback in NFL history.
Just keep passing it out. I thought J.J. Watt was at one point, and there are a couple of guys, I guess, that's gone by him.
Now to Stewart. Faked outside, cut inside. Picks up a first down. Pick up a 5.
Right now they say that Stewart is the team's most talented wide receiver. Excellent size and speed. Dynamic with the ball in his hands and right on his heels. True freshman Calvin Ridley. Both will be around for the next couple of years around here making plays.
Sophomore from Fultondale High School in Alabama. Here is Damian Harris. And Harris is carrying guys with him to midfield. There'll be a few more Alabama players selected next spring. Maybe more than a few. They've got Derrick Henry listed as a number 2 running back. O.J. Howard, the second-ranked tight end. Ashawn Robinson and Reggie Ragland. You talk about the sophomore class that they have right now, there'll be a lot more. That's Ridley again.
And Ragland stayed his senior year. Actually could have left a year ago. Chose to stay in school. And then follows in the footsteps of talented linebacker C.J. Mosley, who ended up being a first-round pick.
Nowhere to go for Damian Harris. Ball came out, ruled down. Dontavius Hurd ended up with it.
Still playing hard. Take your hat off to Middle Tennessee. Said it earlier, there are a lot of teams in Conference USA that's going to field them defensively. Physical football team on both sides of the ball.
Reggie Ragland coming out on the punt team as they look at a 4th and 4. Ed Batiste stands at the 10. We got a whistle. Well, there's some concern about the punting game.
Delay of game, number 15 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
But J.K. Scott, who was 70th in the country after week 1 against Wisconsin, has been more consistent today. Ray Guy Award finalist last year. First team All-America punter. Said he's been working on his drops. Well, that drop was good. The kick was perfect right at the 10 and maybe a yard on the return before paying the price. Right into the camera. Ed Batiste ends up with another grass stain.
Wallace fakes, going to throw. Back shoulder cram. Treadwell breaks 2 tackles. He steps in the end zone. Bo looking to throw. Throws the end zone. Walton. He's got it. The Rebels have a touchdown. This will be huge. Ole Miss will have the football. Ole Miss has knocked off Alabama.
Yeah, I want to deliver a winner to the state of Mississippi, man. I'm proud as heck of our kids.
That was a watershed moment for Ole Miss. Alabama will be thinking revenge when they take the field next after finishing off Middle Tennessee today. Here's what the schedule looks like. Brutal. Yes, the toughest schedule in the country.
You just go for the month of October where you have Georgia, Arkansas, 2 physical teams before going finesse with Texas A&M. And of course, Tennessee, another physical team as well. They can spread you out if they need to.
They'll be dealing with an Ole Miss team that has scored 73 points in back-to-back weeks. It's the first time an SEC team has ever accomplished that. Look at that run. You meant Georgia, Arkansas, A&M, Tennessee, LSU. Oh, then your breathers going to Starkville. But thanks.
I think Ole Miss, they're going to put more than 3 on the board, and they're going to go a little bit faster than Middle Tennessee. That's going to be a good football game to see next weekend here in Alabama.
So according to ESPN's Football Power Index, Alabama has the toughest schedule in the country. And Stock still tries to run it. And because of that, they also think that Alabama, according to the numbers, has only the 4th best chance to win the conference out of the West, behind Ole Miss, A&M, and LSU. Now, that's not saying that Alabama is the 4th best team. The numbers indicate, due to their strength of schedule, that they'll have a tougher time to win the West than those aforementioned teams.
Get into that schedule, you got to be near perfect. You have to keep guys healthy. A lot of things have to go right, to navigate your way through that. And I'll tell you this much, quarterback play's got to be a little bit better when you get into the meat of the schedule there.
Richard Mullaney back to return this one. Back it up to the 33. He's got daylight on the left side if he can get there. Got a key block. A little bit of a stiff arm, and he takes it into middle territory. Quay Watt with the special teams tackle for the Blue Raiders. Nice return for the Oregon State transfer, the senior from Thousand Oaks, California. Indeed, back in a big way in Knoxville, Tennessee, handing it to Oklahoma 17-0 in front of a sellout crowd in Neyland. There in the second there. Bit of a scare at Arkansas. Toledo with a 16-10 lead late in that one. Told you Ole Miss hung 73 on Fresno today.
A couple of head scratchers in the conference today. Arkansas in overtime with, Auburn in overtime with Jacksonville State, and then now Arkansas fighting, trying to get back in the game against Toledo.
Cooper Bateman at quarterback. Damian Harris, freshman from Kentucky, at tailback. Play action. Bateman going over the middle, complete. Big first down to Ty Flournoy Smith.
Boy, nice protection up front for Connor Bateman, and he stands tall in the pocket. Nice delivery, nice completion there.
30-yard completion from Bateman. Here's Harris. Harris inside the 10. Damian Harris was a #1 running back according to many recruiting services coming out of high school last year, even though his senior knee injury limited him to 7 games.
Nice play fake here, and then you're going to see him just step into that real nice tight spiral. It's good work all across the board.
Harris finished his career's second most touchdowns in state history. Bateman rolling, looking, intercepted, picked off at the goal line. Here comes Cottrell. He's got green grass in front of him, but Harris chasing. The freshman running back tracks him down 80 yards later.
Heck of a play by Harris. Even better play by Cottrell, and I thought Cooper Bateman forced this when he was running out of room. Just throw it away. You're sprinting right, trying to force one in. He's just going to take a nice short roll here. He runs out of room in the back of the end zone. He's going to force one. It looks like, I think it's Chris Black. Watch him here. No, it's the outside receiver right there. That goes into the stands, and you live to fight another day on 3rd down. But credit Harris, the running back. Look at Cottrell just stepping. He's had his hands on about 3 of them today. Finally comes away with a pick. But Harris there, the effort. That's going to go a long way with Coach Saban.
Officially a 77-yard return. New quarterback Austin Grammer. He's a runner, and he keeps it, goes forward for 1.5 yards. Austin Grammer, redshirt junior from Tuscaloosa, back in his hometown, getting some playing time here midway through the 4th quarter.
He played last week a little bit against Jackson State. Completed 2 of 3 for 15 yards. Actually had 3 rushes for 14 to go along with it, but a decent season a year ago.
From American Christian Academy right here in T-Town. Now looking the end zone. The scramble. Trying to win a foot race and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Austin Grammer lettered for 4 years in football, 3 in baseball, 2 in basketball.
You know, I liked, I could run when I was that age, but I didn't like doing it, playing that position. Because in a passing offense, when you're asked to come back and throw, now I'm out of breath. I've just run basically from the other hash mark all the way over here out of bounds, and now a pass play is going to be called. And you're breathing hard and got to be accurate, and I'd like to just dump it off. Let somebody else do that stuff.
And especially if you've taken a hit, which you didn't there, but if you've taken a hit, it exacerbates the whole scenario.
No doubt about it.
They bring Tucker into the backfield. Grammer throws, end zone, all alone. Touchdown, Middle Tennessee State. Rod Ducksworth with a 15-yard completion.
And this is one of the things that Coach Saban, Kirby Smart, guys clamor for playing time. And when you get in the game, last week it happened against Wisconsin. The twos on defense got in. Wisconsin went right down the field and scored. Here, the twos get in against Middle Tennessee. They allow another touchdown.
Extra point fits in the right upright. They gave away, the second string defense gave away all the team goals their first time on the field. I don't know if they're going to be chirping as much for playing time this week. Austin Grammer will be. First series, and he delivers a strike. Some of the big guys on the sideline for Alabama with the tied up 37-10. Let's go down to the field and check in with Laura.
Well, Tom, we've seen a trend recently of the big guys, the offensive linemen, ending up on the media guide. Brett Bielema did it at Arkansas. Now Nick Saban does it at Alabama. Center Ryan Kelly is the front cover picture of the media guide. And of course, we know what he does on the field, but what he does off is also so special. He's really excelled his entire time at Alabama in the classroom. He already has his undergraduate marketing degree, and now he's in grad school going for the master's in marketing. He's currently working with a 3.75 GPA, guys, in that program.
Awfully impressive. Thank you, Laura. Return bobbled by Drake. Surrounded by white shirts, and the special teams has left a little something to be desired for Alabama today.
Man, you know how I feel about Ryan Kelly. I started raving about him on Monday, blowing up our producer Joe Thomas, his email. Give me some stuff on Ryan Kelly, man. This guy's special, and he's gotten better each and every single day, each and every year. He's been a part of this program. Now he's in a leadership role.
If you would have sent those emails to Joe Taylor, he would have responded quicker.
Thomas Taylor. I'm on the spot here, big guy. Try to love him up, and then I get his name wrong. How about that?
It's only the second game of the year.
I'm thinking about the Cleveland Browns already.
Harris got stood up and dropped. How about the Kentucky connection with Alabama football?
Yeah.
Harris, second most touchdowns in state history, 122. He had 113 on the ground. Back in the day, Sean Alexander for Boone County High School rushed for 110 touchdowns before matriculating here in Tuscaloosa.
Amazing stuff from Harris. Over 2,600 yards as a junior, and then was limited to just 7 games his senior year and still rushed for just under 1,500 yards.
Here's the toss to him. And beautiful cutback. The vision. The speed, and Damian Harris is at midfield. A 41-yard run on a toss sweep to the right. He ends up outside the numbers on the left.
That's why it only took 7 games to go 1,500 yards. A lot of this in high school last year. It's tough to bring down. Low center of gravity, and he's got speed as well to get to the outside. Saw him track down Cottrell, the corner, on the interception. That's a special young player who's going to play a lot of snaps here at Alabama.
And the first one to meet him is Derrick Henry. Derek Gore now in a tailback. Harris gets a breather. 502 yards of offense for Alabama. They fake the toss. Bateman, he got leveled. Lane Kiffin wants a flag. T.T. Barber came in to make the stick. Bateman thought there was daylight, and sun set quickly on him.
You've got to get rid of the football here. You can't take licks like this and play every Saturday.
What you're talking about before, Kevin Byard with the targeting earlier this game. T.T. Barber did a great job not to go above the head and neck.
I still think it's a bang-bang play that, I don't know that you'll sell me that Byard should be out of the game, because guys are going low as you're coming in and you can't redirect your body. But the rules are the rules, and by the rules, the ejection would stand.
Another carry for Harris, couple of yards that time for the freshman. Headlines tomorrow are going to be, in the talk shows tonight, all about quarterback play for Alabama. What have we learned today?
I saw some good things today, and I saw some things where there's room for growth, and not only by Jake Coker, but Connor Bateman as well.
Took the throw from Cooper Bateman and ends up just a yard shy of the stick, a gain of 7.
The interception by Bateman should have been a throwaway. I saw Coker throw an interception that is into double coverage, that maybe he goes somewhere else, because it was clear 2 guys were back there. To play and be in that game next week and ultimately win it, one of those 2 guys are going to have to play better. Decent numbers, but it's going to take more than that against the talented Ole Miss defense.
Harris straight ahead. First down for Alabama.
Nice.
going back to that, it's what I was just going to ask you. Can they win with the inconsistent quarterback play? They haven't required a Joe Namath to win national championships at quarterback. They've done it with their defense. They've done it with the running game.
It's a different game now where you can just manage it and you sit in the box and fight out. They got the best players. That sets up for them. But when you're spreading it out and you're going fast and you can't substitute, that's all part of Alabama's, pedigree, so to speak, is when you can sit in the box. They're built, and Kirby Smart told us yesterday, they are built to stop the run. If that's what you want to do, then that's, it'll be great games against Georgia, and it'll be great games against those teams that sit in the box. LSU,
Wisconsin.
Great football games. But when you face the Ole Miss and the Texas A&Ms, that's where it's going to be a little bit tougher to do what they did today defensively, and as well, offensively with quarterback play.
Alec Morris will get some snaps here in the fourth quarter. Junior from Allen, Texas. He was in the thick of things in the quarterback race. It was a 5-man race until Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin whittled it to 2.
And as well, Joe, to kind of put a bow on that, is that you want to go fast. Are you going fast to punt? Or are you going fast to score points? And there was a period of time in this game that they went fast and punted the football a lot. Against better football teams, you're going to have better play.
3rd and 1. Derek Keefe now in a wide receiver. They go straight ahead, and they pick up the first down on the carry by Ronnie Clark. Time now for our player of the game, brought to you by Ally Bank. 3 touchdowns and 96 yards for Derrick Henry.
Close to 100 yards. And still the production of getting in the end zone, and I talked about it earlier. It's not the rushing yards for me where I've been impressed with him. It's the unselfish play of throwing the block to spring Kenyon Drake. Pass protection. And Coker was in the game.
Ronnie Clark inside the 20.
That's the stuff the scouts just eat up, because now he's taken his game from just being a running back to a complete player.
So Nick Saban and Alabama outlast Middle Tennessee 37-10. Now 17 consecutive home wins for the Crimson Tide here at Bryant-Denny Stadium, longest streak in the country. They played 3 quarterbacks today. Coker got the start. Bateman came in relief. Let's go down the field. Laura is with Nick Saban.
Thanks, Coach. You were not pleased at all with your offense across the board at halftime. What about the second half?
Well, we did some things better, but we didn't finish drives, and so disappointing really that this game was all about improving and playing better, and I'm not sure we improved in a lot of areas, but we'll go fix and do what we have to do. It's good to win. Got to play a lot of players, so there's always good things.
Both Jacob Coker and Cooper Bateman play in this one. What will you take away from this in future decisions about playing time?
Well, Jake played okay when he played. Cooper played okay except for throwing the interception. We'll evaluate the film. We'll do what's best for our team.
All right, obviously you want to enjoy this one and don't look too far ahead, but Ole Miss next week. How does what you saw today, the spread offense, prepare you for next week?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that they do that we'll probably do. They did a lot of things today we weren't really ready for. We had to do a lot of adjusting. Ole Miss has got a really good team. It'll be a really good game. We're obviously going to have to play a lot better in that game than we played today.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, thank you. Alabama takes care of Middle Tennessee State 37-10. A lot of work to be done for Alabama. The adjustments will continue throughout the week before Ole Miss comes to town on Saturday. For Andre Ware, Laura Rutledge, our entire crew, I'm Tom Hart. This has been a presentation of the SEC ESPN Network. Now, here's Dari in the studio.